Here I am, the one that you love. The air supply for you, cause I'm here. And I'm the one that you love. And yeah, anyways, what's up, everybody? How you doing? How you doing, babies? How's my little babies doing? Ain't nobody in here at the, what's up? Nice shirt. Well, thank you, Uncle Aaron. Appreciate that. Uncle Purvis, how you doing, baby? I hope everybody's doing good to semi-good, if not good. I hope you're doing at least semi-good. Hope everybody's having a good evening. It's been a minute since Pimpmunk's been live. I had to deal with a bunch of shit, right? I was sick. I was really, really sick for a minute there. And I tried to go live one night when I was sick and thought I was better, and I had a relapse and it wasn't better. And so, but I'm better now. I'm much, much better now. I feel pretty good. I actually was going to go live last night, but I had a friend come over and we hung out instead. So, and then I was going to go live earlier tonight, but I fell asleep on a couch. I was just sitting there and I just went, all right, good night. Fell asleep. But anyways, I'm here now, and I am in a good mood. I've been in a real good mood for 2 days. For 2 days, I have been in a good mood because I have felt good. Felt really good. You never really respect feeling well until you feel really, really bad. And I was really, really sick for a minute there. And now that I'm better, I respect feeling better. I do, man. God damn. Because I was so fucking sick. I was so down. That's probably the sickest I've ever been. I'm not gonna lie. I was fucking it was nasty. It was so nasty. But now that I'm better, I actually, I'm enjoying feeling better. I really am. But anyways, let's see who's in the chat room. The chat room. Uncle Aaron, not sure. Jonathan says, "Sup, Pimpmunk, how's life?" What's up, Jonathan? Uncle Aaron, I'm good. How's it here? Kenny Andrews, what's up, nigga? Nerdy Bitch in Glasses, what's up, baby? And the lovely Bunny, how you doing? I hope everybody's well. It may not sound like I'm completely healthy because of my voice and shit, but that's got a lot to do with me getting pretty fucking drunk last night. I'm not gonna lie. Bunny seen me last night in a private hangout. I was lit up, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I was drunk as shit. I had a friend come over, and she had a blast with a friend, a certain lady friend, and then we had fun. But I was drunk, nigga. I was toe up. I'm not gonna lie to you. I drank the whole bottle of liquor by myself. I was feeling it. I was in a good fucking mood. But I wasn't like so wasted where I was like, I was in a good mood drunk. Today is March 2nd, right? For the ones who don't remember, remember last month I was telling y'all that this month is 13 days of Pimpmunk. No, scratch that. Mama Pimp. 13 days of Mama Pimp. Her birthday is March 13th. There is an Amazon wish list that I will get for you right now. I would highly, highly appreciate it if you people would go over there and buy Mama Pimp a birthday present. There has actually been a few presents already bought. I will tell you what that was bought in just a second. It's 2 days now into the month, and she has gotten 5 gifts. I do believe already bought 5 gifts. So I appreciate everybody who's ever done anything. And boom, there's the list right there. There's the list right there. Yeah, I was having fun last night on Twitter also. But there's the list for my mom. Go over there and buy Mama Pimp a birthday present. She will highly appreciate it. She will. But the other day, somebody bought a deep fryer and this cookware set on there for her. But today, I don't know who it was. I thought it might have, I think it still may be Landon, but I'm not sure. But somebody actually bought my mother a couch off the wish list. A couch. And an antique like popcorn maker machine. It's pretty cool. So if you'd like to buy her a gift, please do so. I would she appreciate it. It'd be awesome if you did so. And there's the list right there. And so yeah, it would be awesome if you did that. Awesome if you did that. Yeah, so do that. Go over there and do that. And yeah, everything be hunky dory. I just added a dining room set just now because she needs that. Anyways, I'll see if I can afford anything. If not, maybe on her actual birthday. Yeah, well, her birthday's March 13th, and we're doing 13 days of Mama Pimp. We're trying to get her a couple of gifts at least every day. Mm-hmm. So do it. You do follow Pimp. Well, cool. Oh, shit, ain't nobody watching right now. It dropped from whatever was watching to 5 people, but it'll get better. But yeah, I was acting a fool last night on Twitter. I was fucking around I was picking on Boogie and I was picking on Creationist Cat, but it was all in fun. It wasn't like I was trying to really start drama, but it was all a joke. And Creationist Cat got the joke and he played along for a minute. It was funny. It was funny. It was funny. Is it after yours? Okay, cool. But anyways, guys, just in a good mood the last couple of days. I really am. I'm hoping that this mood lasts because I had a bad fucking month last month. Last month was horrible. It was a horrible fucking month, and I just hope it does not ever repeat itself again because that was a bad month. Not only did I go through a bunch of money shit because of a certain individual, but I also went through some very sickly days at the end of the month that was fucking horrible. Like I said, dude, I haven't been that sick ever. I was so fucking down. My whole body was in an itch because I had an allergic reaction, right? My whole body, and I'm gonna tell you something. I eat so much. One night there, I cried because I was miserable. I was so sick of it, and I was just and then I was puking and I was shitting everywhere, and it was just a horrible fucking moment. And yeah, well, I will not name the person on stream, but anybody in the chat room that wants to name the person that fucked me over, or more than you do it. I don't give a shit. But Tranny is right. It was that person. He's a piece of shit. But anyways, moving on. It was a bad month. It was a really bad month altogether. But this is a new month. This is not February anymore, goddammit. This is March. This is a whole completely different month. This is the new year, man. The real new year. It's all gonna get up. It's all uphill from here, goddammit. There's no downhill. There's no going back. There's only going forward, goddammit. We're moving on. We're moving on to move on. That's what we're doing. Also, sswomanx@gmail.com. If you want to throw any money, I'm not asking, but if you want to throw any money my way, sswomanx@gmail.com. That is the PayPal address, sswomanx@gmail.com. I would appreciate it if you did that. But anyways, just chilling and moving on. And you damn straight, yeah. Pat McCormick said bullshit. I don't know what he's bullshitting about. I don't know if he's saying I'm bullshit or if he's saying that situation was bullshit. But there's a lot of bullshit, Pat. There is. And in the world. But I'm straight up. I'm straight up real, goddammit. I don't lie. I don't. And I know a lot of people say I don't lie. But I'm an honest man. I'll tell you I lie. No. I can't really lie. I mean, I've told lies, don't get me wrong. But I'm not a good liar. I don't know how to do it correctly. You can tell when I'm lying. Shayra, I'll tell you, that I'm not good at it. I mean, she says she's a pimp, I don't like it. He's not good at it. I am not good. I don't have the ability to be a good liar. And I also look at the world like this. If you're not fake, you have nothing to hide. And to me, a person that's lying and fake, there's too much work in that shit. There's just too much fucking work in it because you have to hide it. You have to cover this up. You have to do it. Fuck all that. I'm too fat and lazy to fucking do that much work. What's up, Sketchy? How you doing, baby? Love you, brother. Love you, my brother. But anyways, yeah, I just don't see it. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. I want to touch upon that kind of shit tonight because I'm going to talk about subjects tonight. And, again, but to me, lying takes too much fucking work. It just really does because you have to be on your game at all times. And I'm not. I'm not on my game at all times. I fuck up. I forget shit. And see, that's another thing. You can have a good memory when you lie. I have a horrible fucking memory. I have a horrible memory. I can't remember your name. You tell me your name 5 minutes later, I fucking forget it. So I can't do all that. It's not my skill set. You're weird enough to think people. You want to join me, Sketchy? Sketchy white dude, you want to join me, brother? I wish you would. Me and Sketchy can have one of our conversations that people seem to enjoy when we do that. Sure, okay. Let me get over here and invite my Adrian Brody looking brother over here. I like me some Sketcher. It's Sketcher white dude. Sketcher white dude gonna join me this evening. Sketcher white dude. This brother Sketcher gonna join the congregation tonight. He's gonna give his testimony. He's gonna come up here and tell you the word of God and give it seals. But honestly though, I mean, I'm not fucking lying. I mean, I just don't see how people do it. I don't see how they put that much time and effort into it because you've got to be good at doing that shit. You've got to know how to cover this up, to cover that up, to cover this. And I can't do that. I don't have that ability. So when people say, oh, Pimpmunk's a liar. No, I'm not that talented. Don't give me that much credit because I'm not that good. I mean, shit, seriously, that's credit I don't deserve because lying's a talent. It's a fucking talent. If you're truly a liar, you're talented. And I'm not that fucking talented. Now, I could be sitting here lying right now, and this would be part of my talent. But would you know? Seriously. I sent that link. I got the gasness. I do got gas up on my body, and I'm afraid to take anything for indigestion because I had that allergic reaction, right? And part of the allergic reaction was because I took some antacid tablets, and we think they had cranberry stuff in the antacid tablets, and apparently my ass is deadly allergic to anything that remotely smells like a fucking cranberry. If it's got a certain kind of chemical that cranberry carries, I'm fucked. So if you want to kill me, cranberry me. Death by Cranberry. So yeah, cranberries is my enemy. Cranberries is my kryptonite. Yeah, it's fucking dude. It's awful. And the thing about it, what's funny about this is I've eaten cranberries for years, but it seems that my immune system has folded over and changed and went a different direction than it used to be, and now I'm a pussy who is allergic to a fucking cranberry. The pussiest looking berry on the fucking planet I'm allergic to. I mean, I wish it had been like the Maltese deathberry or some shit, but no, the fucking cranberry. What the fuck, dog? Seriously. I mean, if it had been a berry that was like all black and had that white funk coming from it and little spikes and needles on it, I'd be like, okay, I'm allergic to a deathberry. But no, I'm allergic to the cranberry. The fucking cranberry, man. Fucking gay berry. I'm a gay berry. Cranberries are very tasty. This is true. They're very, very tasty little berry. All right. I'll turn your mic down if you need to. I'm waiting on the sketcher. On the brother sketcher. You're allergic to bees? Well, I'm gonna tell you something, dude. This was I believe this. I did believe this was the very first time I've had allergic reaction like this. Now I'm allergic to a certain kind of deodorant, like the clear stick deodorant. I'll break out in a rash if I put that shit on, but I never had this kind of reaction. This reaction was fucking horrible. I mean, dude, my body was like, fuck you, Pimpmunk. I thought I was going to die. I really did. I thought, like, this is death. I mean, this is bad. And it was fucking, it was just, oh, it was nasty. It was a nasty situation. It was very, very nasty. Very, very, very nasty. And I did not like it at all. I did not like it at all. I said I did not like it at all. You live in Norway, and I'm actually allergic to the cold. What the fuck? You're allergic to the cold? How's that work? That is weird, dude. That's weird. That's strange cookies right there. So, yeah. Damn, that is weird, girl. Allergic to cold weather. Okay. Okay. I got text messages on my phone. When I fell asleep and I didn't know that they got 4 to 5 PPs. I mean, okay. I was no sketching this.
What's going on, brother?
Yeah, let me turn that down.
I'm telling you. Yeah, this mic, I don't know if it's the driver or what, but it's been hot as fuck lately, so.
Okay, well, what the fuck is up with this? It won't let me turn you down now. I fucking hate Google and YouTube.
It's getting worse, man.
It is. It's fucking just, it's pure shit. It's pure shit. Fuck, if they don't like your loudness, they can just turn their volume down. That's what I just did.
Let me put it in room mode. It's a snowball, so.
Okay.
Is that any better?
No better.
Yeah? All right.
No better. So
I won't eat it.
Do what?
Said I won't eat it. I'm going to talk straight into it.
So what's up? How you doing?
I just got off work, man.
Fuck work. I wish I had some more alcohol. Last night I got fucking white girl wasted. And I was drinking a pussy drink, but I don't care. The shit tasted good. I was drinking amaretto. And the shit tasted good. I drank the whole bottle, man.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Liqueur.
Liqueur. But yeah, I had a friend come. I was gonna go live last night, but I had a friend come over and she's a vagina or YouTube. I chose vagina.
Wise man.
Yeah. A wise man once said, "I always choose the pussy." And then he got pussy whooped for a life, and she beat his ass and picked on him. So Jesus wept. That's right. And Jesus, I fucking had your girl rolling in fucking Charlotte the whole time doing that shit. Raising girl, I'd look at her, I said, "And Jesus wept," and she just fucking bust out laughing.
That girl's crazy, man.
She is. She's crazy. She's fun, but she's good people though. She's good people.
Yeah, she's good people, man. Like I said, she's like a sister, dude. Like similar to how we were with Shayra, you know.
Fuck Sharon, I'm joking. I ain't talked to Sharon in a minute, but I still love her. Still love her.
I talked to her not that long ago, but she hasn't been online that much, so.
I think Dee's supposed to hang out with Shayra this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I heard. They're gonna molest him.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I'm going back out to Seattle next month, and I'm gonna be I may be a guest on a certain show that people like to watch out there. So yeah, I don't know what show.
Not naming any names though.
Not naming no names, but I may be a guest on a certain show out there.
I think the last DP I watched you were on.
I think it was the last DP I watched too.
I wonder how their numbers are doing.
I don't really know. I know they had some issues there for a minute, and I think they're changing up their game. I mean, you have to roll with the times, you know.
Well, you can only make so many Brett Keane jokes, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, and apparently they're changing, and they're going. I think they're only doing 2 shows a week now. They've stopped doing 3 shows a week, which is a good idea, not a bad idea.
I was talking to Chris Reagan about that shit. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do like 4 shows a week or something like that." I was like, "Whoa, dude, no,
it seems
2 at the most."
It seems like a cool idea until you start doing it.
Until you do it, yeah, and then you're like, "Well, what the fuck are we gonna talk about tonight?" Or I don't feel up to it. I feel shitty or whatever. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It seems like a great idea, but it really ain't. It's
a lot of work.
What's up, Red? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, it is a lot of work, and it's a lot of time. It's very time consuming.
Right. Because I mean, you can just jump on a hangout and be like, "Fuck it," but it's not good, you know.
No, when you want to do a show, when you want to do a show, it's way different.
Yeah,
way fucking different.
I mean, right now we're just hanging out, but even so, yeah. And if people want to watch this, fine, but
yeah.
If you're doing a show, it should have some kind of production values.
Exactly. It should have exactly. And that's one of the reasons I stopped at the end, because there was a lot of shit going on, and I don't get into it, but I was going through a lot of shit, health wise and money wise, and it was at the point where I couldn't really do it anymore. But I may start back, but. Boy, I tell you, last month was a motherfucker for me.
These last 6 or 7 have been a bitch for me, man.
Well, it was like February wanted to rape me, and it did, and it enjoyed it. Because for some people who know, I went this money situation with this dude who fucked me over highly. I won't say his name, but people said his name in the chat room earlier. And that's fine if they want to say his name, but he's a piece of fucking shit. He's a maggot dick motherfucker. And here's my thing. I just want to get this out there because if I'm a man, Sketchy's a man. If you fuck up, you deal with your problem. You don't run away and ignore another man like a little bitch. You face what you did. Be a goddamn man about it. But that's all I'm gonna say.
Sounds like some drama.
Yeah, well, it was $6,000 worth of drama, and and then I got really, really sick. I had an allergic reaction, dude. And I'm with this. That was the worst fucking feeling I ever had, dude. That was the sickest I've been, and it was horrible. I went through that shit for 7 days.
Damn.
because I had like a relapse. Because I didn't know there was a certain. So what it was, I found out I'm allergic to cranberries. Anything cranberry.
No shit.
Yeah, and like if it's got like a certain chemical, I can't remember that chemical name. I gotta remember that. But I'm fucked. And see, I didn't know. During the time I was sick, I got I was like real bad heartburn and stuff. So I took some fucking antacid tablets that had that chemical cranberry in it, and then it relapsed.
Damn.
And like fuck all over again, same goddamn thing. And my face, I look like Eric Stoltz from The Mask.
Shit, man.
My fucking face was out to here, dude. It was like, oh man, it was bad.
That's me and mangoes.
See, I was trying to be a badass and like not go to the washroom or anything. And my mom was begging me to, and I was like, no, I'm a man, until my throat started closing up. When my throat closed up, I wasn't a man no more. I had to go. I didn't want to die. But like I was telling him earlier, I would have been okay if it was like I'm making up a berry here, the Maltese death berry or something. Like a blackberry with white funk on it and thorns. But no, it's the pussy ass cranberry.
It flushes your kidneys, man.
Well, see, that's what happened. I had a kidney infection, and I took Azos. And Azos has got that chemical in it, and then and it's fucked up. It's fucked up. But yeah, Tranny, that's the name. I am also talking on the phone to that certain female friend that was over last night.
Playa.
Yeah. But anyways, I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, I was on Twitter earlier. Well, last night I was I was buzzing, and I was in one of those moods. I was fucking feeling very contrarian, and I was wanting to like get shit going, and not in a bad way, but just like in a goofy drama way. So I was fucking with Creationist Cat, and I was fucking with Boogie. And I told Creationist Cat that I was gonna shave his fur and wipe my fat jiggly ass with it. And then he was like, well, at least you shave me first. And I was like, I'm not an asshole. Yeah. But it was fun.
How's Vadim doing anyway?
That's the first time I actually had any interaction with him in a while.
Me too. I've been avoiding certain people. It's like nothing personal really, but some people get really tied up in the political shit. Yeah. And it's like, I'm so fucking cynical of all that crap. It's like, if I set somebody's straight up fucking bullshit straight, whether it's an intentional lie or if it's one they inherited secondhand, all of a sudden I'm a fucking Trump supporter or I'm a fucking Hillbot or whatever. It's like, no, fuck both of these assholes. Like,
you can't take a stand. You can't have an opinion on nothing without being this.
Without being in the tribe. Fucking tribe. I don't believe in any of this shit.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And that's the reason I avoid it most of the time, because exactly what you said. It's like, and everybody's on attack mode. Yeah. Everybody's always got to be attacked. And like I said, I made a tweet early this morning, and I thought it was a good tweet. I said that we've been programmed by social media so much that we have become unsociable.
No shit.
We don't know how to be social because of social media.
I almost dropped off all social like a couple of weeks ago. I was like so fucking burnt out with the same shit again and again and again. And I'm like trying to get people to think independently and like break out of that groupthink bullshit. And it's the same shit every fucking day. So I'm like, am I wasting my time here?
And it has to be.
My friend got doxxed, and they're like trying to push her and me and a bunch of other people off the internet, like force us off. And I'm like, oh, fuck you. I'm staying now. I was going to leave, but now that you want me to, I'm going to fucking stay.
Rebel to the end, man.
I guess. I don't know. It seemed like a bad time.
Yeah, it's fucked up, dude. It's like, and it's not, you can't be gray. You got to be black or white. You can't be in the middle. You can't like stand here and say, look, you both are wrong.
And I get constantly accused of the middle of the road fallacy, and it's like, look, what if the truth is in neither of your fucking camps? What if you're both assholes? How about that?
What if it
Is that
is
a
in the
fucking
middle of the
fallacy?
road, nigga?
Yeah, or maybe it's not even on the fucking road. Maybe it's somewhere
Exactly.
else. Or maybe I just want you to fucking think for 2 seconds before you jump on the fucking bandwagon.
Exactly. That's like, you know, when you touch on like racial issues.
Oh, Jesus.
You're either a racist or you're a sellout or you're a nigger lover.
I hate even talking about fucking race because race isn't even really real.
Yeah.
It's not even real. Like, the whole idea about race is a misconception.
Yeah.
You know, like, how do we get a certain tone of skin or whatever? And your skin and my skin ain't going to be the same color.
No.
You know, we got different fucking heritages and everything. But the fact of the matter is, like, our ancestors ended up in an area with a vitamin D deficiency. So the people that ate the same diet in the same climate for a long time, the ones that had lighter skin did better because they could absorb more vitamin D.
Exactly.
In the end, like, it's not a fucking different type of people.
No. And let me tell you something. And I know this is nitpicking on my end, I guess, but I was watching the new Barbershop movie. And
shit.
And in the movie, that this like Indian dude who's talking, and they were talking about race. And, we were talking about, and he said, "Well, I don't like white people either." And then when and I'm sitting there thinking, nobody gives a fuck that he said that. Nobody gives a shit that they said white. You know, basically, they don't like white people. White people are bad just because they're white. But if any white person said, "I don't like black people either," boom, you're racist.
That's like saying I don't like anybody with brown eyes or something like that. It's like fucking retarded. Like, what does that have to do with them as a person? Did they get to choose it when they were born? Exactly. And even if they did, so fucking what? Like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, and it shouldn't matter, but they've made it matter so fucking much.
That all goes down to, like, the sins of the father bullshit, too. My friend Crystal Garcia, she's on Honey Badger Radio sometimes. She's a blogger. She was in the Red Pill movie. Anyway, she just wrote an article about how fucking stupid this whole history is. Like, how whitewashed it's all become. Like, this happened and these people were bad and these people were good. And she's like, no, look, this was a clusterfuck from the beginning. It's not so clear cut. There's different groups of the same race fighting against different groups of, you know, different races. And it's all this huge complex mess. And to condense like 300 years of history into a soundbite, you're going to get it wrong. Like, you're just going to get it wrong.
And they don't, and they're getting it wrong so much, they think that black people were the only slaves.
Oh, like every fucking race has been enslaved by somebody.
Exactly. There's been a lot of white slaves.
Like, race is a stupid concept to begin with, like I said earlier. But not only that, but before white people existed, slavery existed.
Yes.
For fuck's sake.
We didn't create it. We're not.
Who the fuck is we? I don't like a lot of white people, and it doesn't have anything to do with their skin. They're just assholes.
I'm a honky. I'm Asian. I'm Caucasian.
Fuck, man. Yeah, and that's another funny thing. Caucasian, it doesn't mean white.
No.
Like, a lot of Arabs are Caucasian. So what?
It's just, but you know, when I say we, I'm saying because how everybody thinks, right? You know,
we're all groups. We're all a bunch of fucking groups.
Yeah, and we are naturally tribal. But if you step out of that and look at it for what it is, I completely get what you're saying. But we do, you know, we put ourselves in groups. And speaking as that, white people aren't the most evil motherfucking you know, we're not creators of evil. And
we're just people.
Yeah. We're just people.
And like, the Europeans were the most successful colonialists. But they weren't the only ones ever. Like, it's always been like that. From the beginning of written history and prior to that, it's always been like that. This is how populations in general interact, not even just human ones, but all populations of living things. and even things that we would consider barely alive at all, like single-celled organisms have little population wars and stuff. One will absorb another one and take part of their DNA and leave the original population completely decimated. You know, I mean, this stuff isn't even a human phenomenon. It's just a life thing. So the whole thing is so fucking grossly oversimplified. It makes me want to blow my brains out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking simple. And it's just everything, dude. Like, I've been thinking a lot about, like, I made a joke the other day and people got irritated at me when I said I'm glad rape exists because that way, you know, we can point out the weak women or something. I don't remember what I said, but it was like, it was a fucking joke. It was a simple, stupid little joke, and people got pissed off. And I'm like, and I honestly believe rape is rape is a bad thing. Of course, you know, I wish it didn't exist, but it
Dude,
does.
you're a rape victim. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a rape victim, but
if you can't joke about it, who the fuck can?
Exactly, and it does exist. And if we let it take over us, then we're weak. And if you can't, you have to make fun of shit. Or you become SJWs. You become something like, you know, where it's all about that. And I don't want it to be all about that. I don't want my life to be all about a certain moment in my life that I actually don't want to think about that much.
Well, look, a lot of people have been hurt in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
A lot of different ways. There's a lot of ways you can get fucked up in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hang your whole personality on that one thing, you're stuck. You're in the past. You don't even exist, really.
You become that.
Yeah. Like, I know how hard it is to get through shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But that becomes part of you. It is not you. It can't be all of you.
Yeah, you have to let it be something. Yeah,
an aspect, not a fucking defining characteristic. You know?
Exactly, and that's the thing, that this victim mentality that I don't get. Like, you know, you've got to do this because I suffer this. You can't say this. No,
like my trans friends. There's a trans friend in the fucking chat right now.
Yes,
if your entire persona is your, like, the fact that you are transitioning from one gender to another. If that is you, I don't want to know you.
Yeah, that's sad.
That's really fucking sad. Like, what if I went around just like, I am a man. I'm a man. Hey, did you notice I'm a man? Like, nobody fucking cares. Nobody cares. Right? That's not my only defining characteristic. But if you are that, okay, what else do you have to offer? Like, as a human being.
Exactly. I mean, it's like the other day when
the ironic thing about the whole social justice thing is if you focus on the attributes that don't ultimately matter that much, you are really stereotyping people. You are really belittling and dehumanizing people and making them this one little thing instead of the entire spectrum of things that a human being can be and experiences that coalesce into this consciousness, you know? We can be amazing, sick, twisted, fucking beautiful beings.
Yeah.
If we allow ourselves to just be and don't have to be this little tiny fucking thing in a tiny little fucking pigeonhole, you know?
Yeah, there's a billion parts to us, and yet people want to focus on one part.
Yes, I'm sorry that darn training. I was using you as an example, but I was using you as an example because you are not the only thing that says tranny about you is your fucking name. Otherwise, you're a person with opinions and humor and fucking wit, and you have your own thing going on. Yeah. That's why I want to fucking know you, not because you're transitioning. I could give a flying fuck about that.
Exactly. Right? When we were in Charlotte, right, and she was there, and I don't believe that, you know, we had a conversation about transgender.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, I spent the last 8 or 9 years in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
High population of gay people in the Castro district. I don't know if you noticed this in San Francisco.
A lot of dick suckers.
It's like the only time we talked about the gay thing was if they were being catty at each other or if I was making fun of them.
Yeah.
As, like, okay, if somebody's got like a limp or a weird scar or a birthmark or something, you're gonna fucking tease them about it if you respect them.
Yeah.
You know, like people just go at each other. It's one of those things. That's pretty much the only time it ever fucking comes up. And if you can't fucking take jokes about something obvious about yourself, like why leave the house at that point, you know?
Pat said everybody wants to be treated as an individual. That is not true.
No, I wish it was.
I do too. I wish it was, but that is not true. In today's world, especially on the social justice side, they want everybody to act the same, be the same. It's like these movies where you see everybody wearing a uniform, and you got to be uniform to their way of thinking and everything. And seriously, that is what they want. They don't want individuality.
No,
they don't want that, because individuality means you're going to speak up against something they may not like. You're going to go against the grain sometimes.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And they don't want that. They don't want that at all. And it's sad.
It's fucking horribly sad, because we, like, one of our strengths as human beings is having a unique perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're all conscious beings, really, if you think about it that way.
Yeah.
That darn tranny said Population Wars is in Transit sketch. That's a great book. I recommend that to everybody. It's a book by Dr. Greg Graffin, and I know I'm an old punk rocker, but he's the front man for Bad Religion, but he's also got a couple of PhDs and a master's, I think. But anyway, really intelligent guy, and he gives a great context on populations in general, from all kinds of different species and how they interact with each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that really, it's so hard to think about things in terms of little groups doing this, good, bad, you know, black, white. It's hard to think about it that way when you have that context.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there wasn't anything that was a big revelation for me in that book. Like, I wasn't like, oh, wow, I learned something.
Yeah.
But the context he puts it in as such a scientific generalist is a really valuable perspective. It really helps to put things in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'll shut up about that.
No, that's great. I was listening. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about the Native American population of North America.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these people were already here, and this is not one people. It's not Avatar. All right.
Yeah.
There were a whole bunch of different tribes doing their own things, their own customs. Some of them were similar, some of them were dissimilar, some of them were blood enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them formed coalitions that were like countries, like the Iroquois Nation. Okay.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, our Constitution is based on the Iroquois Charter. So, you know, they were pretty progressive for the time.
Yeah.
And then others, you got like cannibal tribes and shit like that that'll haul you the fuck out.
That's my tribe right there.
The Chippewa?
Yeah, Chippewa, that's yeah, motherfucker.
Sawtooth. Yeah. So anyway, like, you know, they're not like, there was a genocide. Yeah. A lot of these people were killed on purpose or as a result of, you know, pressures and the way things went, intentionally or unintentionally. There was a genocide of Native people. But they're not gone. Even the ones that were outright wiped out, those tribes don't exist anymore, they're not gone. Because their genes are still around.
Yeah.
This is how populations work. And I'm not excusing that. Like, we can talk about ethics as a separate thing. I'm talking about biology at this moment. So the fact of the matter is, I have blood from a tribe that doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
You probably do too. Like, we are their descendants.
Yeah, we are. Well, we're not all. Well, I mean,
the
yeah,
same
exactly.
thing happens with all kinds of life. Like, one population absorbs another population. Was it right or wrong? That's a different discussion. But the fact of the matter is, like, we're kind of their successors, right?
Yeah,
it gets into the whole thing with like this guilt by birth thing, right?
Oh God.
Sins of the father. There's two different ways to look at that. Okay, so like I have something like 1% sub-Saharan African DNA.
Yeah.
You probably do. You know, like
I got a little nigga in me. I got a little nigga in me.
Right. So the fact of the matter is, somebody down the line either had a really sneaky relationship or got raped, right?
Yeah. Imagine white women got raped by black people all the time. Fucking
Is it
white rapists.
well? Again, the whole racist stupid thing, but the fact of the
Niggers
matter
are
is, like,
rapists, sketchy.
if there's a rape, and I guarantee everybody listening to me right now is a descendant of somebody who got raped at some point down the fucking line.
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Are you guilty of being the child of a rapist? Or are you the child of a victim? Or both? Or does it not fucking matter because you are an individual who makes your own decisions? And how is that any different than anything else your ancestors ever did? You know? Like, if you came from a small tribe in Africa that was an absolute cunt of a tribe that fucked with all their neighbors and killed them and burned their crops and salted the fucking earth afterwards, and then you were enslaved by your ancestors were enslaved by a West African empire and then sold off to Europeans, like, are you a victim because some of your ancestors were enslaved? Or are you guilty because some of your ancestors were assholes that enslaved other tribes? Or neither?
Neither.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, if you go back far enough, somebody was an asshole.
Yeah.
For sure. My grandparents are all assholes. You know?
Exactly. And this whole, well, my ancestors were slaves bullshit. Well, honestly, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I mean, because you weren't a slave, motherfucker. I mean,
right.
We all got ancestors that were done wrong.
Yeah. And ancestors that did other people wrong. And they could be the same fucking people, too. It's not black and white. So
It's not.
Yeah, anyway.
It's just,
like you said, I hate talking about race because the whole thing is so fucking muddy and so stupid and pointless.
Yeah, and it gets to a point to where if you are the so-called white, you know, anything you say is going to be held against you. If you say anything remotely against their agenda, you're going to be a racist.
And the pendulum fucking swings too. Like, you know, what's happening right now, it's popular to hate white people in America.
It is.
And what's happening as a result of that? Exactly what I've been saying for the last, several years, is that this pendulum swinging the other fucking way, and all these people feel completely justified using exactly the same rhetoric against non-white people. And it's like, well, great. The same fucking racism we were fighting in the fucking 90s. It's all back again. Mm-hmm. Good fucking job. Great fucking job.
Yeah. You're right. The pendulum, and it seems like, okay, history's repeating itself in a different way. It's just the way it is.
Right.
And
it's always stupid though.
And this whole and the thing about it is though, it's like a white, and I hate to say this, but a white guy, it doesn't have a fucking chance in this world to, because we're automatically judged as sexist, racist, and it's just like, what the fuck did happen? What did I do? I was born with a pale complexion and a penis. I can't help that. That wasn't my fault.
Right.
So
yeah, if I got to choose how I was born, I wouldn't be this ugly.
Shit, no. I'd be looking like, well, I would. I'd choose to be this ugly. Because I'm
used to it now, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't look like a race of superhumans, but we don't. Like, most of us don't.
No, we're stupid. I hate people. We're fucking retarded, dude. And we just keep on doing it. We have to push each other. And like I said earlier, it seems like social media has become... It's a good thing, but it's such a horrible thing because it has turned us into ridiculous people.
When you think about it, like, we adapt or we die. That's the way life works, right? Now, the whole internet thing, how interconnected our species is at this point. The social thing, the news thing, this is all pretty new to our our species.
Mm-hmm.
So either we're gonna have to adapt to it and figure out how to navigate this shit, or we're gonna fucking die off like the Neanderthal did.
Yeah, we're gonna destroy ourselves with it.
And people don't understand that. They look at the Neanderthal and they think, idiot cave people. Well, you know, everybody was relatively primitive to our standards here, but that also meant that each individual had to be more savvy in terms of a whole bunch of different survival traits, more wild times. So the fact is, the Neanderthal had big brains. They had big fucking brains.
Yeah.
And they were a parallel species with Homo sapien. They weren't that different. They were stronger and they had bigger brains. Okay, so in terms of like what people think of as Darwinism, like social Darwinism, they should have been the surviving species, not Homo sapiens. The fact of the matter is, what fucked up the Neanderthal was they were not great at adapting. They got into this niche. They did their thing really fucking well. And then when the Ice Age came around, they weren't with it. They couldn't adapt enough. Homo sapiens did a much better job. So the only way that Neanderthal are still around are those that interbred with Homo sapiens. That's their legacy.
Yeah. And that's what's happening here.
Exactly. So like here, we're in the same kind of situation. We've got this fucked up Ice Age on us. And it's one of our own creation. What are we going to fucking do about it? Are we going to adapt and figure out how to thrive in this environment? Or are we going to fucking be steamrolled by it and taking, you know, try and do things the way we've always done them?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, and I want to figure it out because I want it to be better. And like, look, I'm the first one. Look, I can be an asshole and all this stuff and do, you know, stupid shit online. I've done it. I've said dumb shit. But then, like today, I was watching a certain conversation between two friends of ours. and you probably know what I'm talking about.
I can take some guesses, yeah.
Between two very okay, I'll just say it. Fuck it, Tommy from the Bronx and Beyond Fear. They were in a very big discussion about AIU, and I'm sitting there thinking, and you can tell they were getting heated. You can tell they were getting pissed, and I'm sitting there thinking, you know, you guys are a lot alike, and don't even realize you're so much a fucking alike right here. But it's like, we got to pick a side. You know, I love Tommy, but Tommy was on the wrong side on that one.
I agree.
In my opinion, I love Tommy to death, but
he made some valid points.
He did make valid.
A lot of people. He was talking to Fear now. He's like, a lot of people you surround yourself with have done the same shit.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a good point, but I have 100 rebuttals. I didn't want to get in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And if Tommy's listening, come on in, talk about it with us.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is, I know he's talking about some of the people I don't get along with very well either.
Yeah.
Some of these old schoolers. The people that I do get along with very well were the ones opposed to that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're talking about like getting people to flag other people's channels and shit. The fact of the matter is, they're not currently behaving that way.
Yeah, and that argument, I don't like that argument. Well,
and if they did, I'd fucking call them out in a heartbeat.
And I don't like that argument because it was a valid point, but in a way, okay, so what? Somebody else did it. That's like, well, you know, you pissed in my lawn, now I got to shit in yours. I mean, it's just
right. It's like you got two thieves in a room, and one of them's like, "You're a fucking thief." Well, you're a thief too, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, you're both fucking thieves.
Exactly.
It doesn't invalidate either point. You're both fucking thieves. These are both true.
Just because somebody else did it doesn't mean it's okay for him to do it.
Right.
Exactly. It's fucking, you know, it's a silly argument. I got what he meant, and I did understand. And you're right. There, some of these people that he was talking about, he didn't mention names because he's not an asshole.
Right.
But I know who he's talking about.
Yeah.
You knew who he's talking about. And yes, they're wrong for that. But that doesn't take away the fact that AIU is wrong for that.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And
absolutely.
I want to say, you mentioned old school YouTubers. The old school YouTuber, you know, even though they don't want to let go, a lot of them don't want to let go, but they were drama whores. Plain and simple. They like the drama. And, you know, some of us aren't like that. No, we're not like that.
Dude, I don't got time for that shit. I don't want fucking drama. It's pointless anyway. I know people love drama. Everybody's got to look the rubberneck thing, but it's fucking.
Yeah, we all do. In a way, we all do. But it got to the point for me that it's not even fun anymore. If it's not fun, why do it? and you can use, well, I'm doing it for a cause. Are you really? Are you really doing all this drama for a cause, or is the cause drama?
Right.
You know, that's
yeah, and that's pointless, man. It's pointless.
And here's the thing. And here's the thing about YouTube lately, I've seen that it bothers me with a lot of YouTubers. It's like, okay, I want to use me and you just for an example. Let's say that you got in a drama war with fucking TJ. I'm just using an example.
All right.
And everybody was like, okay, your TJ's popular, you're not. So I started jumping on you just because TJ was. I had to get involved because I had to get a little bit of that fucking juice that was happening. You know, I had to get a little. I can't stand that, and I see that all the like. If the Drunken Peasants had an argument with Tommy Sotomayor, then everybody's making videos about Tommy Sotomayor. Fuck, you just drama whores at this point.
I could give a flying fuck about Tommy.
Yeah, exactly.
Sotomayor, fuck that guy. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't think about him ever.
Exactly. And the thing about it is, I try to tell people that don't understand is the Drunken Peasants is a show, right? They do it. So that's their thing. You really don't matter to them. When Tommy doesn't give a fuck about you. He gives a fuck about DP because DP gets him views.
Exactly. He's playing the game.
They're playing the game. And a lot of these people that are trying to get involved, you're not even fucking parts of the game. You're not a player. And they don't give a fuck.
No. And I've seen firsthand people try and hop back and forth between different groups and try and start little wars and shit. Like, it's a hobby for a lot of fuckers.
Yeah.
It's like, we're real people, man, and not all of us have time for that stupid shit.
Yeah, and when I do these little things, like when I do the Pimp Isha thing, I use the Pimp Isha thing for my little drama pick. But it's all, you notice how I do it. I do it in a stupid, goofy fucking way. That where people know it's comedy. It's not meant to be taken seriously. Well,
a lot of people think copper calves are real trannies, so.
Yeah.
You can't give them too much credit, man.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's like, okay, oh, I know, dude. Oh, my God. When I did that video a while back about Trump is Jesus, I had bloopers at the end of the fucking video. There were fucking bloopers with me doing the character and using the wrong lines and stuff. And they still believed it. They would come to me, how dare you think Trump is Jesus Christ and stuff. And I'm like, you fucking morons. And it's just like, oh my. And some people are wanting to argue for the sake of arguing. Like when I did that video, it had the title, the word nigger was the title of the video. The girl come by and said, you're a racist. I said, what part of the video was I racist? She said, well, I didn't watch the video.
Wah, wah.
She actually said, I did not watch the video. And I'm like, well, you lost the argument right there.
Well, of course, people want to fucking ban To Kill a Mockingbird because it says the word nigger. So it's like, oh my God, the book is about how fucking ridiculous racism is, you fucking idiots.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't get that. That's the whole idea. Like when people make jokes, like, you know, when I make jokes about it's to kind of show that it's stupid. It's all stupid.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one way of handling an issue. What if I wrote a fucking drama to get across the point how fucking horrible rape is?
Yes.
And instead of rape, because that's triggering and it's offensive, I substituted rape for like tickling somebody or something.
Yeah.
How the fuck would I get my point across? How?
Exactly.
People read it and be like, well, this isn't so bad, you know, or get a weird idea about how bad tickling is or some shit. Like the whole thing would be fucking lost in the weeds.
Yes, you have to say things.
You have to actually be able to get a point across, you know? Would you want somebody fucking chewing your food for you and regurgitating it into your mouth? How is it any different for thought? You got to be a fucking grown-up and be able to think for yourself with whole concepts.
Yes, you do. And it's like that video I did the other day called Making Fun of Rape. Some people just read the title and thought I was making fun of rape. They didn't watch the video and hear what I said about everything, about why we should make fun of rape, why we should make jokes. But no, they didn't care about that. They just heard making fun of rape. And it's just stupid.
Well, I mean, look at a society where you're not allowed to talk about it at all, like Saudi Arabia. Okay? In a lot of countries in the Middle East, it's one of those things where you don't really talk about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how the fuck do you handle it? It's just one of those things everybody tries to look away from.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you deal with it as a society, as a culture? If you're not allowed to fucking talk about something, what do? Pick up fucking weapons and go murder everybody? I mean, what's the alternative?
I'm down for that.
Well, rape is one of those few issues where I might, be violence first on that one. But that's during, to prevent it, not.
I got in a conversation.
Not after the fact, like, oh, I heard a rumor.
I wanted to bring this up. It's another sensitive subject that I got in a conversation about today, and it was abortion. Right. And I actually said something, and people were like, I can't believe you said that. I'm like, well, this is how I feel. If I had my choice, personally, I don't like abortion. I'm not down. I mean, but now I don't want to take nobody's right away. But personally, I would rather them seek other if they could. You know what I mean?
Right.
Rape.
It should be a first.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like it should. Well, first, it should not be used as birth control.
No, absolutely not. For many reasons.
Yes. And there's a lot of girls. I know a girl that's had 7 fucking abortions. 7 abortions. That's ridiculous. And it wasn't because she was raped. It wasn't because, she just didn't, she had sex and didn't protect her, didn't use protection, didn't use a condom, and just got pregnant and said, fucking, I'm going to abort it. Well, I'm not down with that. I don't like that. I think it's fucking ridiculous. Now, I don't think we should take a woman's choice away, but I do have a problem with abortion when it comes to the man thing. Because let's say that I'm going to use Raising Girl for an example because she's the first name I'm saying. Let's say I got her pregnant. She chooses to have an abortion. I have no rights. I have nothing to say. But if I don't want to have the baby and she does, I still have to pay for the motherfucker. That's fucked up. Men have no rights when it comes to that shit.
No, not really.
And in courts, right? And that may be changing a little bit, but like custody battles. In most cases, the women are just automatically given custody because they're the mother. Doesn't matter if they're the better parent or not. They're just automatically given because she has a vagina. And like my mother said today, a pussy doesn't make you a good parent.
No.
My mother flat out said that. And I'm like, damn, Mom. But she said a pussy doesn't make you a good. There's this. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I know this couple that just went to, and the dad's a good man. He's a good father, and the mother. I swear to God, dude, I'm not even. She's a fucking crack whore. She's a meth whore, and she got custody, and nobody knows why because this dude works. This dude has a job. He makes good money, and he never cheated on his. He's just a good man. But it didn't make, and it really bothered me to see this guy go through this because he deserved his kids. He deserved his kids, and he didn't get them. And it was sad just because he had a penis. I know that's what it was, and that's very valid down here in the South, by the way. The mother is, but it's just so fucked up. I have to agree, Pim. There's only one thing that trumps the vag in court, money, just my opinion. I don't know if money.
Even then, it's close. It's real close. Even if I was a billionaire, because
this dude's got money. I mean, he's not rich, but he's got a decent job. For down here in this area, he does pretty well. And she's got nothing. She doesn't have a job. She's been in jail 2 or 3 times for meth. And and yeah, she could change. She could be a good woman eventually, but right now she's a piece of shit. And she's got her custody of her kids. And it just bothers me. It makes me sad.
Oh man.
But in other news, let me push my mama thing. I did the 20 days of pimp in November. I always do that shit. Well, this month, March, 13 days of Mama Pimp. There is a wish list from Mama if you want to buy Mama Pimp. But there's already been a few presents bought. There's been like 5 presents bought for old Mama. And if you want to buy my mom's a gift, let me get the link right here. I appreciate it. Somebody bought her a couch today off her wish list.
Oh, damn.
I fucking got. I want to say it was Landon Carnot, but Landon likes to do this thing where he buys gifts and doesn't take credit for it. And he says that but I think it was him. But anyways, if you want to buy my mom's a gift, 13 days of Mama Pimp, right there. This is not for me. This is not shit. I'm not trying to get you money or anything. I'm just trying to get my mama some gifts. And so there you go. But in good news, how's your penis? How's your penis?
It's working.
Is it pleasing?
Not to me.
It's not pleasing to you?
Nah.
You're not pleasured by your penis?
We're kind of standoffish right now.
Oh, you having issues?
Yeah.
Having issues. I'm having issues with my penis too. It doesn't want to come out of its hole. It's a hermit. It just stays there and peeks out every now and again and pisses. But yeah, no, dude, but the whole drama thing and the whole all that, close that up. It's ridiculous because it's gotten to the point now where yes, we do need to change people. We do need to try to help people and make the world a better place. But it's gotten repetitive to me, and it seems like it's not going anywhere. It just seems like we're going in circles with it, and nobody's really changing. Is that assholish for me to say?
No, I think it's fair. Part of the problem is this gross misinterpretation and oftentimes outright lies about history, just lies.
Mm-hmm.
And it leads people to these horrible false conclusions.
Halcyon in the chat room.
What's up, Galen? You want in, bro?
You faggot. No, Galen's good people. Yeah, Galen, if you want to come in, you're more than welcome to join us.
Sorry, I kind of volunteered.
No, there. That's fine. That's fine.
It's Galen.
That's fine. That's more than fine. But yeah, no, what he said, what drama? There's really not. There's always drama.
There's always drama. The question is, do we care?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about the overall thing about drama and how everybody's acting these days. And I brought up the little tweet conversation that happened today between Tommy and Fear just as a point, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty much. Well, both Tommy and Fear do not back down from a good drama. No,
that is true. Fear, she's always in some kind of mix on Twitter. I see her and I laugh at her, man. I get tickled at her because she gets deep into it, boy. And
she doesn't back down.
No, she doesn't. She's good. She makes really good points a lot of times. I go on Twitter and I just read the shit and it's pretty funny. The other day I got involved in something. I can't remember what it was. And then I was like, I really don't want to be in this. So I just stopped talking. Because it's just...
It's like, I don't got time for this shit.
Yeah, to me it just gets to a point to where you're basically you keep saying the same shit to each other. And what's the point? If nobody's going to and like I said, I know it may be fucking asshole-ish on this, but if nobody ever gives up and never changes, then it gets to a point where it's just useless.
Yeah, exactly. If you're trying to win and not understand, then you might as well not. There's nothing to gain there. I won an argument on the internet today.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Engaging in Twitter is useless. It's starting to be to me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Twitter's getting worse as a platform too.
It is, dude. I mean, well, all these social networks are starting to get pure shit. I was like, I don't even Facebook anymore. I don't even do it. All I do is use Messenger on there, and I mean, it's the only reason I go to Facebook is just to check my messages. 140 characters isn't enough for intelligent debate.
No, not even close.
No, it's not.
You know, I find that people with legitimate questions tend to come to me and be like, what about this? What do you think about that? And it's like, well, at that point, we've already started out on a good foot because we can say, oh, well, this is how I feel about it. How do you feel about it? You know, it's already starting out from a place of understanding and not just, I'm going to force you into changing your mind, which never fucking works. So, you know, somebody's got to be actually willing to listen.
Yes, and it seems like no one is. It's like you said, you know, it's just to win the argument.
One thing, it's important to keep in mind that everybody is pretty goddamn convinced of their perspective at any given time.
Exactly, they are. Yep.
So, you know, even if they're willingly ignorant about a topic, it's the cognitive dissonance in their own brain they're fighting. So they're erring on the side of one particular part of that mutually exclusive viewpoint.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to get through that. That doesn't mean it's okay to keep mutually contradictory ideas in your fucking brain, but you know,
but you gotta have some kind of opening there. You gotta let, I don't know how to do it. Honestly, I don't know how to do it, but it's like, yeah, we're all convinced on our opinions. We're all strong, very opinionated people, and it's going to be hard to convince us otherwise. But if we don't have some kind of soft spot and let it, just a little bit of a door open to where new information can get in, then we're never going to change. And that's the
even when you're right, you might not have the whole picture.
Exactly.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean we should go through life so fucking uncertain. We got to make the best decisions we can with the information we have.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah,
it's tricky. It's tricky being human.
It is. I hate humans.
Sometimes you can do the right thing and it's still fucked up.
That is true. I have done the right thing and be like, well, I fucked it all up by doing the right thing.
Like it'd be fucked up either way.
Yeah. So we just have to look. We're all guessing at this shit, man. Mm-hmm. I think we're all just like throwing noodles against the wall and see what sticks.
And it's like, even if I'm trying my absolute best and agonizing about something, it might end up completely fucked up, you know, even if my intentions are good.
But we do need to be flexible.
Yeah.
We do need to like give people a chance to change us. I want people to change me because let me tell you something. I know for a fact that I'm fucked up. I know that I'm fucked up in a lot of my ways. So I want people to. Am I hard headed? Yes, I'm very hard headed. I'm stubborn. Look, I'm pushing 40 years old. I've lived a long time, and yeah, I'm kind of stubborn. But I do want people to try to change me, and I don't get mad. And that's another thing. That's the thing that pisses me off is when people get mad at somebody else for trying to change, trying to help them. You know, I don't want you to change your. I mean, I like you for who you are, but if there's certain things about you that are just wrong.
I've made the observation, and again, I could be wrong about this, but I've made the observation that people that tend to have a lot of self-loathing and problems with themselves internally are not actually being true to themselves. So, like, changing you might actually mean changing your patterns of behavior. You know, there are certain things that are inherently important to you as a human being. Like before you even learned language, these are like intrinsic to your personality. And there's nothing wrong with that. So like being untrue to yourself and trying to be something else for other people can lead you into serious unhappiness. And, you know, you're going to have to fight with yourself constantly because part of yourself is saying, I want to be me. And part of yourself is being like, no, I'm this thing, and imposing this false edifice upon yourself, you know? So if you can get to a point where you're a balanced person that's actually being real with yourself, being true to who you really are at your core, if you stripped every fucking part of yourself away that's artificial, like who the hell are you, then you can be whole as a person. And it's not easy to get there. It's not some magic fucking thing. You can go do yoga for 20 minutes and get there. But it's something that we all need to strive for, I think, is to try and be real with yourself and not fight yourself constantly.
Well, Galen, apparently I'm not your friend on Facebook anymore or something. I don't, that's weird.
Yeah, is your account closed down? I can give it to him on Twitter.
Okay. I was trying to find you, but apparently, I don't know what's up with that. Even if you disagree, it is still valuable to understand other people's point of views. It's the only way to understand the world you need to navigate. Everyday ignorance is not bliss, it is just ignorance. I don't know, man. I'm ignorant and I'm blissful. I'm joking. I'm blissfully ignorant, baby. Yes, I am.
I don't know if ignorance is bliss, but I don't think that we could contend with every piece of information in the world all at once either.
Fuck no.
I think that's one of the values of mythology, actually. It's a way for us to make a very complex topic simple.
I'm not strong enough for that shit.
No, I don't. None of us are. I don't believe that. None of us are the Christ or the Buddha or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
You can't just be enlightened in this fucking gray jelly up here.
You're not on Facebook? Okay, what happened? I didn't know you stopped Facebook again.
I sent it to you on Twitter, Galen.
There you go. Yeah, man, I am way too weak for that shit. I couldn't handle it.
Dude, that'd drive you nuts. You go fucking crazy. You can't hold that information. I mean, look, highly autistic people tend to have the root problem of their symptoms, which is what we really see, is the symptoms of the autism, not the cause of it. Yeah. But it tends to be a problem of filtering information. Mm-hmm. So if you're in a crowded room at a party and you're talking to somebody, does that bother you? Or it just makes it a little harder to hear the one person you're concentrating on?
Yeah.
For somebody who's heavily autistic, you're hearing 40 different conversations at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
You're not able to filter that effectively. So that even that much information is overwhelming. That's why you see the guy who Rain Man was based on, I can't remember his actual name, but the way he is in public, he's like, you can see he's like coping with too much information constantly. If you were in that much chaos, in that sea of information, how well would you be able to cope with it? Would you act like a 3-year-old in terms of interpersonal communication? Like that wouldn't be unreasonable, I think. So,
I would be fucking crazy, dude. What's up, Gavin? How you doing, buddy?
What's going on?
Hey.
How you doing, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
We got you, brother. How you feeling, man?
I don't know. I'm sore.
Too much gay sex?
I'm just sore.
Well, that's not sporty at all.
I'm spending the week in bed.
Oh.
Yeah. That sounds lovely right now, actually.
Danielle tore that ass up, didn't she? You know, pissed her off.
Danielle's in Texas right now. She'll be back next week.
Oh, that's what it is. You got blue balls.
She's visiting family there. I didn't go.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why.
Well, it's Texas, first of all. Now, we're just sitting here talking all kinds of shit about drama and black and white and right and wrong and whatever. We're just having one of those conversations.
It seems like people are so close up to these problems that they can't see things for what they are, you know? So, or making problems where there are none.
That's a big problem.
Pimpmunk,
Yes, sir.
go to Twitter and retweet my tweet.
Okay. I will go to Twitter and I will retweet your tweet.
One of these days, hopefully before I die, I can be able to teach you social networking before it becomes completely Orwellian.
It's already
before.
stupid. Man, I know, but social networking it depresses me, man.
No, but you can still use it. There are things you can still use to your advantage. When I come in one of your rooms, I expect if you work things. I remember when drunken peasants had like nothing, and they were like, and he'd have to. Sometimes he wanted to really just push the stuff to get people and not use like the Amazing Atheist account, and I remember like trying to tweet it out, get other people too, and I was pushing it. And I remember when it would have like 10, 20 people, and then 50, and it was like, wow, it's getting 100.
Yeah.
Now, and then see, it just takes time doing those things.
Yeah.
And
You did the same thing for Daniel, right? For Repsion.
Well, a bunch of people, a lot of people I've done things for, and it's like you doing live shows and doing how to show social networking. Social networking. I mean, I could be a producer easily on anything if I was healthy.
Yeah.
I could produce my own stuff, and I could write stuff and just hire people to do everything, and I easily get something that was within bounds that would be interesting content other than the garbage you have. And I mean, I think look, most people are like, well, that'd be cool if I had 1 million subs. Oh man. And it's like, I think that's easy. If you know what to do. I know what to do. I'm just ill.
Yeah.
So that's just me. But,
yeah. Well,
but the problem with social networking right now is I tweeted out a great tweet. I keep wondering if I'm shadow banned again. I never know. But I put out a tweet, and it was like the state of like, the online before this, and it showed like the evolution of man online in a picture, and it was a link to a YouTube video. And I wish people would have saw it. And I was like, okay, this is going to be the funniest tweet I've done in like 2 years. This is fucking awesome. And then like no one even favorited it. It's like, fuck. And I was thinking, I'm going to go say something really stupid. I'll talk about Trump. It'll get like 50 fucking likes or 200. And it's like, ugh.
but it seems like on Twitter, as right, like I will occasionally see like one of you tweet, but it's not like I see every one of your tweets. I don't know why. Why is that?
I might be shadow banned. I don't know.
It's like Sketchy. I know Sketchy tweets a lot, and I never see him tweet. That's the thing.
I go to him all the time. I check. Listen, I actually look at Sketchy's tweets every fucking day or every few days. I will go back. I have literally seen every tweet he has for at least the past year or two.
Yeah,
I have.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But that's the thing. I mean, I don't go to his page. I shoot.
Your Twitter page, cancer, garbage.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, nobody likes you. Everyone right now, anyone listening, unfollow Pimpmunk on Twitter. He's garbage. Just unfollow.
I can kick you out of this chat. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, you can.
I'm joking. You know I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Well,
unfollow him. Unsub to him. Tell him to go fuck himself.
Okay. Send
him hate mail. Tell him you're going to kill his mama. You just upset him as much as you can.
And I don't give a fuck.
The thing is, you occasionally hear some actor or whatever complaining like, what are all these people doing? And like, oh, I got to block all these sexist, racist people. You hear this narrative all the time, and it's just bullshit. It's like, okay, again, how many times does that have to be said? You're in a public arena where everyone is basically, imagine being in a stadium, a sports stadium, except everyone is a player and everyone's an audience member.
Yeah.
Well, what is everyone doing? Everyone is heckling.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing sexist about that.
Well, see, you talking about my Twitter being? I don't. The only thing I tweet is goofy ass tweets with little jokes and stuff that I come up with. That's what I do. I don't try to like. I'm not trying to change the world. Fuck that. I
No,
really don't.
the only person you need to change is continually, and the only person you can change is yourself.
Yeah.
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 That's what you need. What every person's job is.
Yeah.
And that's what I was just saying before you came in, Galen, is like not just changing yourself, but being true to yourself. Not changing yourself fundamentally, because that's impossible. That's like changing, that's alchemy, changing lead into gold. But being true to who you really are, not being fake.
But nobody wants to change it. That's the problem.
Here's the thing. We watch a lot of people. If you get on Twitter, and you see a lot of people being fake. And you can see it that it really is representational of their lives. You see their outrage, how they have to be angry about stuff, and they're never talking about themselves. Okay, like a lot of the problems that were in early YouTube are now all over social networking, where people want to talk about politics. They don't want to talk about themselves. They want to talk about real humanity and sharing and other people's experiences. They don't want that. They want to talk about group narratives and fuck you and fuck this or fuck that. They want a scapegoat where it feels so good to hate on something, and it's outrage culture, because that means they are excluded with dealing with their own humanity and those of other people with loving kindness. And it takes love to inquire, to learn anything. Science takes love. Anything of value takes love and hard work. But they don't want that. They want to spend every day doing this, which is also exhausting. And they want to say, well, fuck Trump, fuck anyone who disagrees with any or doesn't bow to anything I say at the moment, which I might change 10 minutes from now.
Right.
Which it's like going back to this art critic, and he was like, how's anybody supposed to keep up and be politically correct with the current standards of shit at Berkeley? It's like, fuck that. That's impossible.
And fuck Berkeley.
Yeah.
Although the college as an institution did come out in favor of free speech.
Well, there are a lot of good people at Berkeley in their law school, tech. I mean, there are a lot of professors, but fuck
I'm
the
speaking
students.
more to the culture of Berkeley as somebody who lived in that area for a long time.
It's crap. It's been crap.
It's horrible. It's funny. We had a thing going on where we would guess what college somebody went to just by looking at them on the street. And the Berkeley ones were always the easiest. It was like one of those games like Spot the Cows while you're driving on the freeway and you're bored, right? Exactly the same kind of thing, but with colleges. And it's like Davis, USC, Berkeley. Everybody's like, yeah, Berkeley, absolutely.
Sketchy I Spies, Lacey Green.
Oh, yeah. She's too well kept for Berkeley.
Nutter.
Yeah, she's not right.
Not right in the head. I wonder how she feels now, because it was always hard for her. Wonder how she feels now, being such a dishonest person through her entire thing, because she actually sees herself, going back, I heard a little bit of what you said before, bits, but a person who doesn't accept her self-image, looks at herself for her actuality. She can't love herself. And so she talks all
She's not true to herself.
Oh, no way. No way at all. I mean, I've known her personally to say that this is a fact. She is such a liar. And it was sad to see how she acted. And the only times I could really get her on the level was when we acted in compassion to, if I could get her to, about someone else mutually. But it was like she didn't give a fuck about herself. She was always... I mean, I've known some extreme borderline people at their worst, and I have to say, like, she is worse than them. So,
well, she did unblock me. I'm not sure when, but somebody brought her up. I think it was actually that darn tranny brought her up, and I was like, well, I was blocked. No, it was Persephone. Sorry, y'all look alike. But
why were you blocked?
Yeah, she had me blocked for a long time, and now I'm unblocked. So. I don't know. I didn't interact with her, so I don't, not that I recall. So it was probably a block list.
Yeah, they block people for fucking ridiculous reasons.
Well, one of the biggest block lists I wound up on was because I wasn't a rad femme.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these people that are like, I'm super progressive, trans rights, or whatever, or sex workers' rights. They're actually like subscribed to a block list of TERFs and SWERFs. Trans exclusionary radical feminists and sex worker exclusionary radical feminists. So they're actually they're blocking because extreme radicals are blocking. It's like, you fucking idiots. Jesus Christ.
Fucking stupid. So, yeah, but anyways, so that's when I go on social networking anymore, I just get depressed. I just get sad.
Me too. It's sad.
And
I'm encouraged when I hear people like actually being like, no, this is unreasonable. You need to look at this from another angle. But that's so rare. It's such a small percentage of the interactions online right now that it's really disheartening.
Yeah. It's all about drama, man. They all just want to like stir up views and hits and likes because they're pissy at somebody, and it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I don't know. Life's too short for that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind getting in deep discussions or in debates or whatever, but if you're just arguing for the purpose of arguing, then you're just ridiculous.
Yeah, like what's the point? My whole purpose for a lot of the social stuff is not to make people think like I think or to win arguments or to get respect or whatever. It's just to give my perspective. Right or wrong, this is how I see things right now. And I've been trying to get other people to do exactly the same thing. Like, okay, the memes are funny. That's all great. But I've seen them 1,000 fucking times. What do you think? Let me hear an original thought from your brain. And I've been doing experiments around that lately, like kind of prodding people to do that directly or indirectly. And the results are interesting. It's like a lot of people are afraid to do that, to actually be vulnerable enough to have a unique perspective.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I really don't like asparagus, or I pooped earlier, or some shit.
I said that. I said I hummed when I pooped.
You weren't even the only one. There was like a couple others.
I was just being a dick.
Right. But exactly. But there's no risk in that.
Yeah.
Of course, you make videos all the time with positions that are pretty contentious.
Yeah.
I was just speaking in generality here, not about any particular.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact is, like, most people tend to shy away from that. Like,
yeah, people are afraid to give their opinions. Or I don't know if it's fear or if it's just, I don't know what it is. I think they're afraid to be insulted or judged.
It's a risk.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people, the mentality is, okay, when you see people constantly put out a narrative that everyone is insulting and doing this, there is a presumptive, it's like everyone now has the mentality of preemptive Bush warfare, that strike first, everything is a presupposition about everyone strawmans, everyone talks past one another, it's hit first, and don't listen at all. Just do what you have to do, go in with your politics. It's like there's an Iraq war strategy on everything. And then if anything goes down, then you explain it like, no, WMDs were there. That person was this, and this. And just keep to your narrative and you're like, well, it was for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Because of these politics. And it keeps going in circles. And that's what most people do. And I mean people across the board. This is not about left or right. And this is across the board what people do. We know people who do this. We know people who do it. Like in our circles, it's just atrocious. It's like they're being infected like by zombies.
Yeah.
Like there's not a zombie virus that's going to come. It's everyone is just going to be, it's like Back to the Future. He at the end of the film, he's like, "Why do I need to go in the future? So what do we become, assholes or something?" And it's like, yeah, you do.
Yeah. Well, there is a silver lining, and that is that hard times draw out true character.
Yeah.
You know, like we wouldn't have heroes if they didn't have anything to overcome. And that's not saying I want hard times because it makes heroes, but on the other hand, it's just the way things work.
You can't have one without the other. You can't have one without the other.
That's it.
Real sketchy. I gave Danielle a book to read on the train ride back and forth. The Crucible. I thought you would find that of interesting. I thought she'd like it. It's a quick read, so
yeah,
it's not that long.
And we're all
people
living it.
Yeah, and people should read that Arthur Miller's book.
Mm-hmm.
Well worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it seems like, well, I'll get into ancient religion because we have so many atheists. How about that?
Okay.
So, in multiple religions, Gnosticism, Druidism, like Proto-Celtic stuff, way back, there's this belief that being balanced, being centered, being at peace is stillness. The problem with that, with peace, is that you're stagnant also. And it actually takes being unbalanced and being in turbulence and being in turmoil to actually be able to grow. There's no other way to do it. That's at the core of those two philosophies. The idea is like you can't even walk unless you're unbalanced. When you're walking, you're basically controlling a forward fall.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same thing with yourself as a human being or with a meta version of that in a society or something like that. We kind of have to get fucked up a little bit before we can sort it out, figure out who we are and what we want to do and why.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
That doesn't mean it's fun when you're in it.
No, it doesn't. And like I said earlier, you know, as we get older, we realize, I realized that the bad shit made me the good parts that I am. Whatever good parts that I am it came from the bad shit.
Yeah.
It came from the suffering that I went through.
But it's not just the suffering, it's how you handle it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not how you fall down, so if you get back up, you know, that old saying.
Tommy, finally.
Tommy said gayness. Tommy's gay, I guess. He's coming out of the closet with that gayness. But yeah, it is, and it's fucked up. But but now that is hard to hear when you're going through the shit, though. Like when you're going through the bad, it's hard to hear. Well, this is going to make you a better person, and it's very hard to hear that.
Well, part of what makes us better is that we want that peace.
Yeah.
We don't want to be in the fucking turmoil, so we try and solve it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the problem is external. Most of the time, the problem is right here. This is where we got to fix it.
Yeah. And in the chest area.
It's right in here.
right there. Galen's giving us his best Darth Vader impression right now.
What's up?
You're breathing into the mic really hard. I was making a stupid joke, that's all.
No, it was really bad. You need to get better. You're getting worse.
Suck a dick, Galen.
I'll leave that to you.
Okay, I love the big cocks. But so how's your health? But you said you were sore. Why are you sore?
I just hadn't been feeling well. I was really not feeling well today. I was supposed to go back to the ENT for my vertigo, but I had to put that off a week.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hear you, man. I'll tell you what, I went through 7 days of fucking shit. I'm actually feeling better, and I tell you what, you don't really respect feeling good until you really feel bad. That's the sickest I've been in a long time. And now that I feel better, I'm just like, okay, I want to stay this way. Because fuck, dude, I was miserable. What's up with Galen's video? Raising Girl said, what's up with your video, Galen?
what video?
I don't know.
I'm waiting on my computer to be fixed. It's in the process. I'm gonna get it back. Or I'm gonna have a computer, a full working computer again for the first time since 2010.
Damn,
So yeah, how about that?
that's pretty good. I'm glad you're getting one.
Well, I have one. I'm just getting it rebuilt again.
You get it redid.
Yeah.
Getting your hair redid. Oh man.
Well, finally, someone actually responded. For Fairuza Balk, the actress. I explained to her about the whole heckling thing and about she doesn't have to block people, because when you block someone, sometimes it emboldens them. You know, when you mute them, they just fizzle out because they're like, okay, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
So, and I was explaining that to her, but she doesn't apparently know about muting people on that, and she just reports everyone. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Since I followed her for years, and I put it forth, but she actually responded. That's when I was at the phone, tapping and breathing right in it. That's why, because I was explaining it to her.
That's okay. Yeah. But you're right. See, for a long time, I never really blocked people, and I didn't want to block people, but I realized that you can't just mute a motherfucker. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's a good tool.
Yeah, the worst thing you could do is block people. Usually, is because once you block them, they go into full butthurt, and remember, Pimpmunk, you can always tell a faggot by the way they bleed out the side of their ass.
I never forget you saying that tonight, and I laughed so fucking hard at that. He just said that randomly. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Well, someone cut us off in traffic on the interstate, and they came off and cut me off, and I was like, I saw that person early. I'm like, fuck, this person is driving like shit. And then they just went right across and almost hit me, and that's like on the interstate.
And that's what he said. We were in the car, right? He said, that's how you can tell a faggot if they're bleeding out the side of their ass. And I'm in the back seat just fucking rolling sketchy. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, when I'm driving and I start cursing, I usually say a lot of shit.
Oh, he just says like words that the first thing that comes to his mind. And it was so fucking funny, though. It was hilarious. That was an awesome trip, by the way.
I trash talk like an NBA player or an NFL cornerback.
Yes, you do. And we were talking about last night. We was on a private hangout, and I said the two best hosts that I had on these trips last year were you and D. You were fucking amazing, and that was such a wonderful trip. That'll be a great memory for me for the rest of my life.
Which is only going to last another 9 months, by the way, everyone.
No, 8.5 now. 8.5. 8.5. Yeah. But it was a good trip. It was a very, very interesting time. Going to shower in this shitty Jacksonville. Nobody cares you're going to go take a shower, Ingram. Why do you feel the need to type that in the chat room? Fucking faggot. Ingram's a good dude. He was there in New Orleans with us. Anyways.
So, about online.
Yes, sir.
So I was trying to say in the chat earlier, what do I get out of it? What do I do online? Yeah. Well, like Twitter, you got to see what you can. Okay, you can bathe in negativity and feel like shit or bitterness. Mm-hmm. That's but even if you do that, you have to find okay, what's the solution? What can I do productively here? What can I learn from this? So if you see a problem in social networking, what are you doing to be the solution? Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah.
A lot of people just are being pulled in with the mass negativity. And then offering more negativity. Yeah. That doesn't, if you don't like something, you don't offer more of it. You see all these feminists and so-called social justice warriors who preach against hate speech, who are the definition of it.
Exactly. Good point.
It's and if
That's
you try
exactly
to,
what I was saying earlier.
yeah, and it's like, wait a minute, you don't like hate speech, then why are you speaking in this manner?
Right.
And it's just like you hate everything and you want people to die. It's like you see
Well,
people
that's
like
why it's convenient
like
to group people up.
it's like with the stuff with the Milo Berkeley thing. You saw, like, I think it was Leigh Alexander and there were some others, and I mean prominent Twitter users, and they were literally saying and advocating, and they were saying go to the streets and hurt people, like just find people and beat them, and telling people and like cheering it on. And people were like, yeah, fuck these people. They're going to find this group of people. They're going to vandalize stuff. And they were telling people to riot and hurt people, burn things, find people, their families. It's like, okay, that's ridiculous. That's just disgraceful. Like, if you want to know what an openly like destructive culture is, right there at Berkeley, that's destructive. And on Twitter,
Well, that's some crystal knocked bullshit too.
that
that's
is, they're telling people when when it's okay, when it's kosher to be in a certain social language culture. Okay, that's a culture. A language culture is a culture. There's a language, there's a meaning system, and on Twitter, it is kosher to advocate for violence against certain groups of people, but not others. Now, I'm not for advocating it against anybody, but I'm showing that, stating and pointing out that to advocate literally, like, no, like literally saying we need to go out and hurt these people. But if anyone even offers criticism or someone says, well, you have followers who harass someone else that we think you do, and it's just innuendo, then they're like, fuck this person because they have a large account and they are critical of me, so we ban those people. But it's like Jack, and of course I've pointed out many times that Jack only likes social justice warriors because he likes to get fucked by feminists. And that's, he's just another, what do you call it, radical bites who just wants to get his, do some pussy crunching. And it's just, all of this is so stupid. You have these white dudes who want to basically go get their cream pie, and you have all of these women saying, yeah, just so I can have my bitch on. It's like, this is dumb. That's not a political ideology. That's retarded.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, it's like we're dumber. Yeah. We're going to kill off most of life on Earth in this century, and these people are wanting to destroy the First Amendment. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. It's like they don't give a fuck about it. They want to bitch on Twitter. There are people who bitch on Twitter and like say fuck Trump all day long.
Yeah.
Like, fucking go kill yourself or go get mental help.
And another thing we touched on earlier, I'd like to get your opinion, that really irritates me. This is what pisses me. YouTube drama, Twitter drama. It's like, okay, when people see, I'm just using them as an example, by the way. If people see drunken peasants arguing with Tommy Sotomayor, then everybody starts attacking Tommy Sotomayor just because they want to get in on it. They don't really add anything. There's nothing being added except just more fucking stupid drama. And it's like, it fucking irritates me. I don't.
So, like, you were talking about, like, drama. I wanted to get to, I always do this. Sorry, sketchy. He's going to roll his eyes. We'll probably come back on the screen just to roll his eyes at me. Like, you were talking about specific dramas, like there are different types that people throw drama around, like, what do they mean by drama? And I kind of get you, but you always have something in mind. So I just wanted to show it, like, maybe let's point out it in 4 different dimensions, okay? Or 5, a handful. So, like, who wants to start? And then I can see if I can add to it. Like what you were talking about, drama and how it's unproductive online and different dimensions of it. Like you mentioned something about Tommy and what was it, Beyond Fear?
Oh, well, they were talking about the AIU situation. About the sketchy probably knows more about what they're talking about.
AIU? What was that? What's his name?
Devin Tracy. Yeah, Devin Tracy.
Is he still around?
Well, he got banned from Twitter. and apparently they're starting like a campaign to try to bring him back or some shit.
For why did he get banned from Twitter? The usual.
Yeah, because of the shit that he does, the constant poking it, and apparently, okay, Sketchy can probably tell you more about it than I can, but Fear and Tommy had a disagreement on it because Tommy's like, it's bullshit that he got blocked, and Fear was saying, well, he kind of brought it on himself. That's basically what she was saying because, all the shit that he causes. And you can't expect not to get shit thrown back at you if you're constantly throwing shit at other people. That's basically what she was saying. And Tommy was taking up for Devin. So, yeah, but there's people in our circles that we know that do the same thing. And I was like, well, that doesn't make it right. Just because somebody else did it doesn't mean Devin should do it.
Well, I would put forth, like, I don't know Tommy's position, and I really don't know Fear's.
Mm-hmm.
But, Tommy is just pretty much, that for everybody. Okay? So, from what I know of Tommy's positions, and he is a bit of a contrarian, but he's also kind of like, well, it should be for everybody regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem I would see is that coming from Tommy's without really knowing it, I'm speaking out of ignorance, is that, well, like Twitter is unfair on how they delete people.
Oh, it's YouTube he got banned from, not Twitter, YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
it was YouTube.
He got banned from YouTube, but what was for his shit stuff? Okay, so YouTube is coming down like Twitter though. So.
Oh God. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So what kind of videos and channels are the ones that get taken down?
These days, who the fuck knows?
No, well, like I'd like to get an idea of some examples. Like there has to be some. You're saying Devin Tracy. Like who else?
I don't keep up with YouTube enough to know who's getting banned, buddy. I really Sketchy may know.
Nah, I've been so busy lately.
I didn't even know Devin was banned from YouTube until today.
I don't watch his fucking videos.
Because I've watched one. The only video I've ever watched of Devin is that night he flipped out on that fucking live stream and started blocking everybody.
Okay, everyone, like in the chat, if anybody's actually fucking listening, for those poor souls who are some people who have been banned on YouTube and why?
Don't be a dick.
And while they're catching up with the stream, I just want to say, like, I believe in equal application of whatever policies social media is put forward. Like, that should be applied equally to everybody, regardless of their positions on things. And there's a lot of favoritism in these circles. I think AIU has as much right to speak his opinions as anybody else. If he's doxing people and shit like that, like, that's a different matter. But in terms of like having a platform to speak on, yeah, like I think that he should have a platform, even if I think his views are stupid in some cases, like, so fucking what? Like, we're all going to disagree at times.
Well, here's
an attack on his free speech is an attack on my free speech is an attack on your free speech. That's what we need to keep in mind.
Well, and this is why, because I want to illustrate. Now, the argument against what Sketchy is saying is that, well, this is a private company and they can do what they need to for their business and what they see as best, and they can regulate it anyway. Wait, no, well, that's what people put forth a lot. One moment. And so the problem with that is you have these are tools, okay, that are used for the makeup of the entire modern world. And pretty much it affects all of the entire species. These tools, they do. They even people who don't use this, or even Amish, they're impacted by these tools. They are. That's I find that what I'm stating right now is an indisputable fact. And at least the majority of the entire species of almost 7 billion people are. When you start cutting out groups of people by politic or for whatever reason, of the biggest communication tool in human history, that is a massive problem. Mm-hmm. And it is discriminatory. And then you can say, well, they can do something else. What are they supposed to do? What
Right.
do you do when you're excluded? Okay, you're telling someone you have to walk in the gutter. We are punishing you. We are blacklisting you, and there's no forms of recuse or even a system of appeals. There's no appeal system. That is a totalitarian system. It's corrupt. It's biased. It's political. And you have these companies like other companies that don't want any basically labor laws over them. They don't want any laws. I mean, you can't in the United States just exclude someone and be like, get out, nigger. You can't do that. You can't do this. This has already been not only from the Equal Rights Act and furthered in Supreme Court law from cases being reaffirmed that you can't exclude people for a variety of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I would contend that one of those put forth is, with your religion or politics.
Right.
I think that could be even argued in court. I personally feel that could be argued in court against Twitter if it came down to a Supreme Court case. And by the way, those conservatives on the court would always argue in the manner of the First Amendment. They're pro First Amendment, unlike the liberals. And so I believe that would actually win out against the businesses.
Which is huge irony, massive irony.
Yes, right. So,
like, what does liberal even mean anymore? But that's exactly what I'm actually getting at from the side, is that the TOSs of these major social medias have been poured over by multiple lawyers, and they're careful not to be discriminatory in the language of their TOSs. Mm-hmm. And so if they are applied evenly, even if I disagree with portions of them, some of them are mandatory just to comply with laws, both in our country and in other European countries that we deal with. There have to be certain things that are enforced, like doxing, especially of underage people, like things like that are actually against the law in certain districts. So you have to kind of have a baseline policy that's not only like kind of common sense, but also is a good one-size-fits-all policy for all the regions that they plan on operating in. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they don't have discriminatory language in their TOSs for the most part, but act in a discriminatory manner, shows that they're aware of exactly the kind of precedents you're referring to, Galen, at least at some level in their organizations. And they're trying to do their own thing regardless and be totalitarian in that respect. Some of that is intentional. I absolutely believe that. And some of it is just an artifact of having huge platforms that are not 100% human manned. So a lot of times you can do things that game the system because of the scale of the thing that will get somebody banned unfairly or something like that. You know what I mean? Like a flagging system, like YouTube fucking heroes. Jesus Christ.
Oh, ridiculous.
Right. Like individuals can act like a lynch mob and get somebody pulled, regardless of whether or not they're violating the TOS, as nebulous as that can be. So it's a mixed up issue. It's not entirely possible to completely vilify a company as large as Facebook, for example. But on the other hand, like they're certainly not opposed. They're not doing anything to try and prevent that kind of behavior. They would rather 100 people be banned on false premise than one person be allowed to say things that they disagree with. That's my observation.
I like that.
Yeah, well, it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
I mean, I don't like that it's happening. I mean, I think that's an excellent explanation.
Well, thank you.
Analysis.
I understood your point. I took it. I just mean, like, the whole thing is ridiculous. And I'm not a fucking genius or anything. I've just seen the way these companies work and refuse to work for exactly the companies we're talking about.
Well,
because
you work
of how
for
they
companies
operate.
like that, so
I work for companies like it. I know the people that work in them, and some companies are worse than others in Silicon Valley in particular.
yeah.
There were a lot of closet conservatives in those circles, and it's very totalitarian. It's very much an echo chamber. You're not allowed to have a dissonant view in those circles. You're completely ostracized. So, like, that's the reason Gab exists. is because it's basically a bunch of expats out of Silicon Valley that started this company on the premise of the First Amendment.
With all that said, though, like this, I get the simple old disagreement that Tommy and Fear was having. I get what Tommy was saying. Yes, he shouldn't be banned for saying stupid shit. I get that. But what Fear was saying, I do get her point. Like, you can only throw so much shit without some shit being thrown back at you at times.
And when he was banned from Twitter originally, my understanding was that he actually violated multiple points on the TOS. And it was a legitimate ban. Whether or not you agree with the TOS, it wasn't like, hey, he was singled out. It was like, well, he's lucky he was on there that long.
He actually did break the TOS,
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, well, yeah, well, I want him to have free speech, but on the other hand,
rules are rules. I mean,
okay, I'll relate a story.
Yes.
Okay, in 2009, TJ was threatened with being banned from YouTube and Google, basically. And he was further restricted more than anybody else on the entire YouTube network. I mean, how many people does it hold, now? Like over 1 billion.
Yeah.
So at least, right, Chris? So
affirmative.
So over 1 billion people, and it was even then too. It's way more than that now. 2 billion. But whatever it is. I mean, back then, I remember when you have things with 1 million views was incredible, and now it's you have things with they're gonna have something soon if they're not already with 1 billion views.
Yeah.
So that's not out of reach. So you're having incredible amount of views, but still, TJ was the one person who was restricted with their actual speech, where he could not use any form at all of any word that might possibly considered profanity, like saying the word hell. He was threatened with pure banishment from YouTube. Now, this is extremely restrictive speech. It didn't follow consistent rules. It was ridiculous. Now, he's just like, I can't work with this. This is bullshit. And he wanted to leave. I challenged him and I was like, no. And I got out and we watched and I showed him and I talked about Carlin and all these others and Lenny Bruce. And I gave one of my like Newt Rodney, little speeches, Vince Lombardi or something. And I showed him the Howard Stern clip where they're trying to tell him he can't joke about stuff. And he's talking about Nixon and Dick and all this other stuff and pussy. He's talking about dick and pussy. And he was talking about this different things. It's from Private Parts. And it's like, look, you can use language and you have to be inventive. Other people have too. You have to go and figure out a way through this where you can reach an audience, where they can understand what you're doing and what you stand for. And even when people, punch you, you're going to have to stand tall in front of it. Otherwise, you're a pussy. So he stood tall in front of it. I'm really proud of him for this. TJ stood when he was oppressed by YouTube and by people false flagging him. He is a good symbol here for what he did then and that he's still on there. He still made it. So
right. And I want to make a clear delineation here too between elements of terms of service agreements on social media sites that are reasonable and ones that are unreasonable, that fly in the face of the purpose of the platform. Like what TJ was running into is absolutely unreasonable.
But it's also it's also symbolic of what's going on now, where there are certain people rules apply to and other people they don't. Mm-hmm. And that's become widespread. And this is where what we now have, these social networks now have partisan, biased, unequal inequality on how they deal with people. They look at people in an unequal manner, mm-hmm. and then they apply different rules to people. This is disgusting on the biggest tool, one of the most effective, biggest tools ever in a human being's hand. And they're going to say, we're going to apply this unequally with extreme bias and prejudice. That is disgusting. And you don't hear any moral outrage about it.
It reminds me of the discussions I've often had kind of reluctantly about transhumanism. and the idea that you can program out bad behavior and things like this, right? So the idea is, in this snapshot of time, in this particular moment, with the ideas that I currently hold, I can make a decision and say, this is absolutely something we need to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
And like, how certain can I be of my perspective at that point in time? How arrogant would that be? You see what I mean? Even something that seems so destructive in the grand scheme may be something we need as a catalyst. I don't know. You know, that's the beauty of unlimited choice, is that you can make the wrong ones, or you can see other people make the wrong ones at times. Or what may be right for one group may be wrong for another group. The idea that we can say this is absolutely the right political perspective or religious perspective or whatever, and have that be true in an objective sense, is absolutely fallacious garbage. It's
I
fucking
have the
nonsense.
one true religion in politics.
Right. The absolute lack of self-awareness from people like Steve Shives, who can actually say, you know, well, we need to be able to hear each other, and simultaneously block every human being on the fucking planet and tell everybody who doesn't agree with him 110% that they're fucking bigots. You know, like, that is exactly the kind of mindset we're dealing with on a much larger scale. And it's not even like one in particular person that is responsible for that mindset. It's this group hive mind that has become so insular that they can't even see the fallacies of their own positions. And I say that as somebody who leans heavily left politically. I cannot, most of the arguments I get in these days that are not only unproductive, but they're based on absolute garbage premises, come from other people on the left. Like, a lot of positions on the right I heavily disagree with, but the worst and the most destructive ones I'm seeing right now are coming from other people on the fucking left, and it drives me crazy. It's like, if you were willing to actually open your eyes and look, open your fucking ears and listen for 10 seconds, you might realize that there are other positions out there, that you don't have the entirety of the fucking truth on this planet. You don't have a monopoly on goodness.
But they do.
You know? Anyway, sorry for the rant.
No,
but
that's
So,
good.
I want to clarify. He's saying that they do have a monopoly on being retarded.
Yeah.
no, they don't have a monopoly on it, but they certainly have the majority at this point, I think.
Well, yeah, that's well said. Yeah, that's an excellent clarification.
I mean,
there.
there's so many people that would crawl through a mile of broken glass to suck fucking Trump's dick. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the whole Trump is literally Hitler thing makes my skin crawl just as fucking hard.
I'll tell you what, if they disagree with something, it's Hitler. Everybody's fucking Hitler these days.
Why can't I be Hitler?
Because you are Hitler, motherfucker.
No, but I don't get people calling me Hitler.
Even this is fucking gonna be an unpopular position, but even Hitler's not Hitler.
Not
explain that.
Yeah, I know.
The idea that people have about these
Yeah.
horrible people in history that have done horrible fucking things is wrong.
Yeah.
They don't even understand the nuances involved and the political climates that put people like Mussolini or Hitler or Stalin, for that fucking matter, in power.
Yeah. And and I agree with you. Even I love that you said that even Hitler's not, because they've made Hitler like this mythical monster.
I'll comment to that.
Yeah. Okay.
When people make these arguments, I'm really great at ending the discussion.
Okay.
So I'll offer, what treasure I found that does this, because this has become a really bad problem. I think you're both stating.
Yeah.
And the two things that I talk about, I just try to add, just talk about it where I'm not just like, no, motherfucker, fuck you. That ain't the shit. Like, you got to do it this way. I don't know. I don't go in there giving declaratives.
Yeah.
I offer discussion and talking. I'm like, and non-confrontational.
You're not. Now, wait a minute. You're kind of confrontational.
I can be, but you have to know when to turn it on and off.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make you're not like Mr. Innocent here. You can be very confrontational.
Oh yeah, but you have to be sometimes. It
Yes,
depends on when.
Yes, you do. I agree.
Now, two books that I offer in support of giving clarity to the situation with this whole "you're a Hitler, you're a Nazi, God wins law" going off of a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, two books. One, of course, is we've discussed many a times with Chris and I,
I
which
know what
is
you're
when the
saying.
Nazis came to Skokie. That book, I'm getting the title wrong, but that's an excellent book. There are actually, I think, two books written on it. But
Who's the author? Who wrote it?
But that is the better one, yeah.
right now, the other book, which is a bit of a read, but it's an excellent book that will change the way you view everything.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them really will. Is Adolf Eichmann and Israel on the Banality of Evil by Hannah Arendt, and
Oh,
that is a
absolutely.
book will make you look about what is symbolic evil and convicting a person in law and context, and what has meaning of law and how you judge people.
What was the
And it
name of
gives
it
it
again?
on well, Sketchy will tell you the first one.
Oh, the first one's when the Nazis came to Skokie.
Okay. And I can get these on Prime, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other one is Eichmann and Israel on the Banality of Evil by Hannah Arendt.
And most of what Arendt wrote is in my Criterion collection of recommended books, but The Banality of Evil is absolutely a must read.
Will you send me a message?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get you the ISBN numbers.
Okay. Because I am starting to read again, by the way. Galen will be happy. I am trying to get back into reading. I used to read, but then the internet happened and I got stupid.
No, you started reading more than what the internet does.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It makes you read shit that doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
And your focus
more than you were 10 years ago.
You read in little bits and Twitter bites.
Yeah.
And then when you look at a book, you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. You freak out for a different format.
Yeah. I got programmed to read. Yeah, you're right.
So you could read looking at shit online for 10 hours of constant nonstop reading.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone gives you a page that takes a few minutes, you get all like, you go cuckoo, which is that's absurd.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm trying to reprogram myself again to do that, because I used to read a lot, before I got it. Like I said, before the internet, I used to read books, and I'm trying to reprogram myself. Like I said earlier, like when I did a tweet earlier this morning today, where I said that we've been programmed by social network to where we're not sociable. We've also been programmed by the internet to become very dumb, a lot dumber. And I've become dumber because of the internet, I think.
I've become dumber. I've become dumber.
Well, I can tell you, I was very good at speed reading, and not just like skimming, but reading and digesting the information very quickly.
Yeah.
So that helps when you're reading books that are packed with a lot of information, and you might need to actually read something multiple times to really digest it. You know what I mean?
I do have to read like a page 2 or 3 times.
Right, because if you get stuck in the fucking mud, then you lose your train of thought, and it's pointless to read it in the first place.
Yeah.
But with the internet and the way the information is presented, I've noticed that I've gotten much worse at that. Like, that skill is kind of atrophied. It's very difficult because you're not reading on one subject, following one train of thought, following one thread. You're following 8,000.
Yeah.
So you tend to not see the detail of the bark. You look and you see trees, just a forest, right?
Yeah.
So there's, ups and downs to that level of filtration with the information you're taking in. And that's exactly the problem we're running into, that you and I and Galen were just speaking about, is that we lose the fucking nuance. We lose the context and the details of a subject.
Yeah.
And this isn't an appeal to everybody's wrong, just kumbaya, everybody, don't ever take a side. It's more, be cautious when you take a fucking perspective.
And one of the reasons, going back to the banality of evil, is that it really approaches this how everyone wants to go to this great evil. Like, they weren't looking. Okay, one of the worst things of Nazism that Hannah Arendt is putting out is taking it apart and breaking down the banality of evil. Like, she's literally breaking it all down.
Right.
And now, but all the people that she was talking to in Israel and Europe and America who were talking about this trial of this person, they were convicting this pearl as this big symbolic image. not as a person. Now, the problem with the Nazism, though, is that the very things that it did, which was dehumanizing and looking at people in this built-up image, was being done. And there was all these hypocrisies that she was pointing out. And I want to just say that her criticism did not go down very well. People are still violently in outrage of her. Like, if she would have lived longer and walked down the wrong street, she could have easily been murdered and hung and burned in Israel, okay, or anywhere, even in New York. I mean, and just for pointing out intellectual, humanitarian criticism that that encourages humanization, even in a legal matter, even if a person's going to be put to death, that you look at the matter within context and law and equality and fairness.
Right.
But for that, they were so angry at her. And
everybody wants everything to be two-dimensional, black and white.
And so in this age of the internet where everything is so broken down, and we look at this stuff, and our understanding and our literacy, reading literacy and visual and audio literacy is so broken up, I can see how we jump to the symbolic so easily. It right now, I believe Arendt would be writing on that, because this is the age where that book is really showing out now. It's more shown now that you could take those points today, and they're more important than they were for what she was showing then.
And some of the great writers who came out of World War I had similar perspectives too, you know, actually being literally in the trenches and fighting the Germans in that context, where like we realized that these people were exactly like us. They were human beings. They were in their circumstances. We were in our circumstances. And it was nothing personal. Even if we did horrible things to each other, it was in the context of that situation. Like in other contexts, in other situations, we might have been having a beer together, but we weren't. We were there fighting, and we all would have much rather been doing the latter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That perspective is utterly unwelcome in our current day and age. It's utterly fucking unwelcome. You're not allowed to humanize other people, and that's exactly what we need to be doing. If you want to be a fucking rebel today, humanize people.
Yeah, good point. That's a good point.
Even fucking Nazis, real Nazis, are people.
And there's people that don't
doesn't
see
mean
that.
You have to agree with what they do.
Yeah, and they don't. But nobody wants to see the human side of other people. If you're against their agenda or whatever, then you're not human to them. You don't mean nothing.
You need to die. You need to die.
Which is exactly what the fucking Nazis did, and that's where the irony is. That's the lesson we should have taken away from that whole thing. The Holocaust is a direct result of dehumanization, because you have to dehumanize people in order to do abominable things to them. Yeah. That's what a psychopath does. A fucking sociopath doesn't relate to people empathetically at all. No. They don't see them as other people. They don't understand that they have exactly the same thoughts and feelings and everything else that they do.
We are a society of psychos, man.
We're becoming that very quickly.
Now, when we interact with people, and if you anyone who's listening to this still, unfortunately,
quit being a fucking bitch.
Who has the unpleasantness of being friends with John Crawley. Anyone still listening, yeah. So
you enjoy being friends with John Crawley, motherfucker.
Not really. Me and Chris are always like, Jesus Christ, we still know that guy. He's like a
We have secret midnight meetings.
Yeah. We actually do. We bad
in the graveyard.
And we talk about taking advantage of your mama. So
I took advantage of her earlier, so go ahead.
That's fine. That's one reason we're jealous.
I raped my mom.
So when you talk, if everyone takes this understanding of this whole what we were just pointing out about stereotyping people, and then looking at the actuality of stuff, and you see the hypocrisy. Number one thing I would recommend do not call like, well, don't you understand you're being a Nazi? Don't say that. And okay, and I'll explain why. You have to go through explaining a person in a descriptive conversation about just humanizing the things and why it's beneficial and why things aren't, because it leads to bad things. But if they come in like, are you calling me a Nazi? Tell them, no, I'm not. And I don't think you are.
Exactly it. The whole point is to end the fucking discussion by dehumanizing the people that disagree with you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the point
So
I'm trying to make.
if you say, even if you're meaning it intellectually, you tell them they're a Nazi, that's a red word. They're going to be inflamed, because the moment you call anyone a Nazi, even if you're saying, well, you see, you're doing stuff that they would do, the conversation is flamed out. It actually has. So you have to embrace it. Like, how would you want to be approached? How would you want to be approached compassionate? No, me, okay, not everyone is like me, and I know that. Look, I want to just brutalize everything. I mean, I'm a pretty brutal person. I want this, and a lot of people need tender gloves. I mean, maybe I do sometimes, but a lot of times I don't. But I know that, and both of these motherfuckers right here have even, tried to explain it to me like as if I didn't know. Nothing, though I do thank you for that understanding, even though I do know it. That I get a lot from people that they think that I expect people to be on a certain level, and I'm disappointed they're not. It is hard talking because everyone is on different levels on something. But I do have it. I know that you have to look at people from there. And if you're having an audience on YouTube, you have to see how I always tell people, and I've told both Chris and John this. I've told everyone that if you make a video or write something, go after you make a test video, and then go transcribe it like you're listening to it. Record, listen to how you said every word, and write it out, the pronunciation, the syllables. Listen to how you speak. Then you will understand something. Even like I'm all for freedom of speech, and I'm not telling people to self-censor. I'm trying to get you to be effective communication.
Yeah.
Not just, we need to be more effective with communication, because right now the communication is so ineffective. There's too much of people talking past one another, and no one giving a damn. Everyone wants their narrative and telling everyone to fuck you, which I have to say is not that different. When I was one of the first people banned from YouTube back like 2005 and 2006. And then, I've had videos demonetized, even though I had everything worked out where every clip was right that I used, and they still demonetized me. And I'm like, what did I do? And they're like, well, they might be questionable. What the fuck does that mean? Yeah. I had everything down with everything that was qualified. I did. They still demonetized it. And there was nothing I could do to appeal it. I've had a video flagged. People censored me, and they false flagged it. YouTube was like, well, you know what? You're fucked. No appeal system. And that's bad. But so if you do have a chance to speak online, consider you're not going to live forever. It is still a great privilege to be alive, and use it well. I mean, I'm all for your freedom of speech, and I'm even for ignorant speech, but God damn it, can we be more effective with our speech? Like, that's what I was even telling TJ. Like, you can say even raunchier shit, but figure out an interesting way to say it. Like, people have always been raunchy, even when they had major censors. And they had it, and that was tough for them, but they still found a way. God damn. Like, you think it was easy
Monty
for
Python.
George Carlin, Monty Python, any of these guys, Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor? These guys didn't have it fucking easy, and they're funny. And then when people do, they get lackadaisical. It seemed like the people who were the more suppressed worked the hardest. Not that I'm advocating for censorship, but it's just pathetic. It's pathetic to see how people don't have any fucking respect for how they use language and listen, how they speak or listen. It's pathetic.
Yeah, I got I'm sorry. I thought you were
Go,
done.
go.
Now you talking about language. You made me think of a discussion I had with Raisin Girl and Charlotte. Because I kind of repeated, I think, what you said one day, because I can't talk like you, of course, but we was talking about language, and I said language is fluid, and she disagrees with me on that. And I was wanting your opinion on that a little bit more, because I like when you talk about language. They're both muted, but Galen, are you there? Well,
Yeah.
okay. That I was wanting you to talk more about that because you can explain it way better than I can.
Okay. What? Say that again. How you were talking about fluid?
Yeah, like
Well,
how language changes, like I believe like the definitions of words really don't mean much anymore because words change.
well, it's contextual,
Yeah.
like to the meaning, and you have an intentionality. Like, okay, if you and I have a shared experience, and we're talking about something, and you're making a joke,
Mm-hmm.
and then sketchy wasn't part of that, but you had, let's just say, you had a different joke, but your joke to me about looking at an object
Mm-hmm.
was being funny about something that sketchy looked at with you, and you had an intentionality. So you look at him, and then you look at me, and you say a joke.
Yeah.
And you're looking at an object, and you point at it, and we both start laughing. We're laughing for completely different meanings that we're taking of it, and you know it. You've just basically said two different things with the same words, with two different intentionalities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, but there is an intent, but different intentionalities. And then what if somebody else is listening and they're like, well, that's bullshit, and they got something completely different? Well,
Yeah.
that doesn't have anything to do with what you could have been talking with multiple intentionalities. Now, if you think about intentionalities, a person, how we label ourselves, we can be many things. People like to label themselves symbolically. I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican.
Yeah.
I'm a this, I'm religious, I'm an atheist. Well, looking at how you talk, which is like your language game, you can relate in different meanings.
Yeah.
You may overall relate in a certain political language or culture, in some kind of cultural language. But there are also people who relate in multiple language, and many people do. I mean, I'm a person who can relate in multiple languages. So
It's about a 10.
not everyone can, but I would say that I think Chris would agree that Joseph Campbell was a speaker of not only many languages, but many cultural languages, and he bathed in them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Krishnamurti and other people, Wittgenstein, philosophers, and anyone who's a scientist should. It's sad when you see people like Richard Dawkins, or I think people like Bill Nye, who are I think they're stuck in their own little world. Same with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think he's a petty little man.
Well,
Tyson.
If you can't bring your words to life and actually have them resonate with somebody, what is the point of your fucking words? And I think Campbell really understood that. The man was a natural storyteller. So he could condense all of these really different language games, as Wittgenstein would say, these different paradigms into something that you can understand and really take on board. Just like a kindly grandfather telling you a story around the campfire, that was his method. And I think that's an excellent archetype to emulate in terms of a communicator, is making it real to you. Whether you agree or not, you can understand it. You can put your hands around it.
Yeah. And
that's another art that's really kind of lacking in this day and age. There are very few people that can really do that effectively. It's like, especially in internet culture, we've got our own little languages. We've got our sub languages. There's so many little clicks that go way down into the, the twilight zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not like engrossed in that culture all the time, you're not going to fucking get it.
Oh, dude, I lose it. I ain't gonna lie. All this shit that people talk, I'm lost half the time. Like these words they come up with, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck are they saying? I mean, it's not like intellectual, but it's just like stupid fucking conversations, and they're using words like woke and steak, and I'm like, what the fuck? I just get lost very quickly.
Yeah, and some of that can't be avoided if you're in a specific, very specific language game. And let me explain what I mean by language game. I'm doing the same exact thing I just spoke about. So the concept is we need to agree on a set of rules when we talk. And that kind of happens automatically. It's not something you really have to think too much about. If you're a natural communicator as a human being, you don't have, a social disorder or something like that. You don't really have to consciously wrestle with this problem. But let's say we sit down to hash something out, whether it's a friendly conversation or a disagreement or whatever it is. If we sit down and we decide to play a game and to see who's better at that game, who wins? Well, that really depends on what fucking game you're playing. If I think I'm playing chess and you think we're playing checkers, you're going to be like, you cheating motherfucker. What the hell was that? What are you doing with that shit? And I'm going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you retarded? And we're not going to understand each other. We have to both understand not just that we're playing chess, but how to play chess.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing with language. And that's what Wittgenstein was getting at. Like, we have to be on the same playing field before we can communicate effectively. So when I say language games, I'm not saying playing games with each other, like mind games or anything.
I know what you're saying.
That's not what it means. Yeah, I know you know what I'm saying, but for the benefit of everybody, I can't assume everybody's acquainted with Wittgenstein. So,
well, I'm not acquainted with him, but I got what you said.
You get what I'm saying, right? So, language. Another way to put it is language families.
Yeah.
Or Sprachspiel.
Yeah. So, as long as we understand, I can talk to an academic feminist in academic feminist language, and they're going to understand exactly what I'm saying. If I talk to Joe, the bus driver off the street, and I use those exact same words, they're going to have a different set of meanings or no meaning at all.
Yeah.
It's
okay. I want to illustrate something right here.
Yeah,
I think this would be a good time for something. Okay. And you're going to like this, John. I think you really will, what I'm about to do. Vintage me. A light bulb just went off in my head. So let's talk about an academic feminist, okay? A person who considers themselves one. Okay, Christy Winters.
I knew that's exactly what I was thinking, man.
Yeah.
Go for
and
it.
So
perfect example, too.
Now, there are different qualifiers, though. Here's a person who's really stuck, but they don't want dialogue. You have to talk in their qualifiers. Well, that is a problem with their language because it's based upon excluding people. It's not a dialogic system on this intersectional feminism. I mean, real radical of it. But not only that, a lot of people who get picked up in this are not the brightest people. So even when you get certain people, there are certain people that I know who are far more well-read in intersectional feminism, okay? Such as Nuclear Night and others. I've known a lot of feminists over the years. Radical feminists, extremists. And Christy Winters, she actually has a PhD, but she's actually one of the dumbest people that I've ever come across. Now, you have to not just look at the person with their language game. You have to look at their intellect. Certain people can't keep up with other people, and they're far more tribal, or like they're just herd talkers.
Yeah.
And you have to know who you're talking to, that not only is language meaning not universal, that you have to look at who you're talking to and how you speak to them and what they're capable of talking to. So we have to be far more understanding of who we're talking to, and so we're not frustrated like, why aren't they listening?
Yeah.
Well, we need to, if the other person can't, we need to be understanding of why they can't. Because I got to tell you, Christy Winters is not understanding of anyone unless they just agree. Unless you nod your head, she's just like, fuck you. Just same with Greta Christina. Either you agree or you can die. And that's probably the dumbest perspective a person can have about anything. It's like, well, do you like chocolate? No. Well, fuck you and die. It's like, what?
Anti-Socratic, not just not Socratic, but anti-Socratic.
And you have to understand, these people are emotional, emotionally damaged. And I'm not putting them down for their mental health issues. Like, I'm actually really compassionate about it. I don't hate any of these people. It's just, you have to be, if you don't like it when you see people acting a certain way, you need to humanize them more. Mm-hmm. And maybe they'll hate you more for it. I find that they do sometimes when they find out you do it. But I've gotten through to a lot of people over the years. When I originally did Blog TV Feminist Dialogues, back in like 2009, who was doing feminist dialogues? But I want to tell you, it was very effective. We got all these people. Like, I had Lacey Green, I had TJ, we had Brett Keane, we had everybody up on there, like, who was on YouTube back in the day. Everyone was in there, and we would all take turns talking to radical feminists, and they would talk to other people, and we would all interact. It was a really nice thing. But other people didn't do what I was doing. They were like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Like, TJ's big, kind of feminist ponage of Nuclear Night and a bunch of radical feminism, it actually came out of those dialogues. We were going to do other series, but I was sick and had computer problems. So TJ was like, can I just go? I'm going to go make a video. I have all this material, and we're stuck right now, and you're not doing well. And he was like, and I was like, I gave my blessing. I'm like, yeah, we talked about it over the phone, what he wanted to do. And I talked to it with Nuclear Night and others. And they were like, they couldn't wait for the video. So I think, and he explained his criticism just like he was talking in the Block TV. Mm-hmm. And TJ has always said that he felt the secret of his success on YouTube more than anything was when he looked in the camera. When his videos are successful, it's when he looks in the camera and he looks into it like he's talking to a friend who he'd bleed for, and he cares. And that's when he's successful. He said people can feel clarity. And I have to say, it is the videos that he gives passion to are the most successful, and that's true. I think you would agree with that, Pimpmunk. But we have to remember to get through to people, and even academics. There are certain people, even with a lack of intellect, that are just more emotionally equipped. I met people who were mentally retarded that have more emotional, a grasping of things, than a person like Christy who has a PhD in whatever the fuck she has it in. I mean, she is just a really emotionally
dumbass.
Well, I don't want to say that. I want to say emotionally just not there. It's just, it's really, she is a very emotionally vacant person.
No, that's better. You said it way better. Vacant. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
And when you're talking to someone and you can feel the hole in them, it's rather disconcerting. And
like nothing's there.
I've always just kind of pull back from like wanting to smash her, because it was like, there's a hole there. What am I punching at? I don't even see the point. It's just like there's a hole there. This person has grasped onto this thing because this person is not doing well. And I've interacted with this person a lot, but I withdrew. I found it pointless. I would say I'm describing Steve Shives as well.
But she has a PhD. Remember Teresa? Yeah. She has a PhD, Pam.
Yeah, Steve Shives. And what about Mother Teresa? Okay, take her. Well, she has a lot of qualifications and awards. So a lot of people do. Okay, take Kellyanne Conway, who's with Trump. Now, you have a lot of people who go to Harvard Law School. And do you know how corrupt they are and nasty? It doesn't make them honorable, intelligent, sincere people. It doesn't. I mean, they are wound up in. Sometimes you go to those schools. It's kind of like the lesson from Citizen Kane, where it's like he gets all of the best editors, And he says he's going to have them working for him and doing things his way. And he's like, or they're going to have him doing things their way, putting in their system. And it's just going to be another pile of shit. Well, if you go to some of these systems to keep your individuality, this is not a case of not going to Harvard.
Yeah.
You can go to Harvard, but you could go through that system and be corrupted by it. You could go through it and be a better person. It really it goes back to what Chris was talking about in you earlier. It's about your being the best who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, I have to say a word that you never hear anymore is how to be honorable. How when we have a contract or a relationship with anyone, or the relationship we have with all of life, how much do we honor that if we see it as a contract? There's not a lot of honor. I don't think people know what that word means. I've brought that word up over the internet over the years, the last 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
over 20 years. And most people don't even know what that word means. They've never even heard it. I have to say that's probably one of the most sad things that I've ever come across is people don't know what the word honor means.
I've noticed that there's this Star Trek mentality about honor and logic. They think that if they say the word, it is so.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually have to meet any criteria at all. You just have to say, well, that's not logical. That is not logical, Captain, or what the fuck ever, right? Like, or that's not honorable, like a fucking Klingon.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it so.
That's true.
And Captain Picard always said, make it so.
There you go. We'll just get the fuck out of that hole we just dug.
But there is a lack of honor. I mean, there's a movie that I watched a while back. Came out a few years ago. It's an independent movie. It's called Margin Call. It's got Kevin Spacey. It's about Wall Street, and it's really a movie that people should watch because you're talking about honor. It talks about how these people basically destroy everybody's lives because they have no honor. And it's just like they don't care. Like, it goes back to what you said about what's your name, not listening to people and not really. People don't matter to other people these days, and it's all about money or fame or just getting your point out there. And it's the lack of caring about people. And I recommend that movie, by the way, Margin Call. Watch it. I don't know why that brought. It just made me think of that movie.
Is that the guy from Star Trek that's in that?
Yes, he is in that movie. Yes.
That's the one with Demi Moore too, isn't it?
Yes, Demi Moore, Kevin Spacey. It's an excellent fucking movie.
By the way, I saw that I got a screener of that before it came out.
Really, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant. I know it wasn't. A lot of people didn't see it because it wasn't real.
It gets to the whole Wall Street collapse and how people sell people out and the whole culture
exactly
of collapse and greed and how disgusting it is and then how people sell each other and scapegoat these people as fall people.
Yeah, it's a deep movie if you really watch it and get the meaning of what the movie's about, the meaning of it, and it's brilliant. And I hate that it wasn't a big blockbuster, so a lot of people didn't see it. But most of the movies that I watch, most people haven't even fucking heard of. But it's a great fucking movie, and I knew Galen probably seen it. It's a good movie.
I've seen it multiple times actually.
It's a phenomenal. You need to watch it, Sketchy. I think you'll like it.
What's it called?
Margin Call.
Margin Call. Okay.
There are several films that deal with the economic collapse of 2008, and that was the best one. That was it's inspired by that.
Yeah.
It's really leading up to that to show how awful it was. If you go see the movie like Too Big to Fail with William Hurt, that movie is just a pile of shit lie. It's well acted. It explains it, but they're literally defending like they're the heroes, and it's just bullshit. And they're like, these poor guys got fucked over. It's like in defense of the companies, like they're trying to save. They're the heroes. Like Goldman Sachs is a hero company. Now, I'm not even kidding. Like,
Yeah,
they
that's
actually
bullshit.
made a movie where the former head of Goldman Sachs, Henry Paulson, who's one of the most corrupt people in the world, was like, he was like stressing out and awake at night because he cared so much for the world and its economic systems. It's
Margin call does not do that, by the way. Margin call it shows the corruptness. You know, it's not making them look good.
I'm actually, I think the only thing that Too Big to Fail shows is Ben Bernanke. I think it actually shows a good portrait of him. I kind of like Ben Bernanke in certain ways. I think that he really wanted to step in, but it didn't show where he was so critical of the companies. I mean, all of these banks, he was very critical of them. They stripped it of that because he was so disgusted with everything that he actually quit being a Republican because of the 2008 collapse and what happened in that time. And they, of course, they cleaned it, but they do show that he is just like, this is like, he's the one voice is like, all of this is garbage. This is all terrible. And then we should all be like, this is the worst thing. Like, you're going to destroy the entire world economic system. Like, you fucking greedy bastards. Like,
Yeah. That's the reason I brought up that, because you were talking about honor. If you really want to see like a lack of honor, study up on Wall Street. That's some fucked up shit right there, boy.
Right. And that's one of the big problems I have with like the libertarian right. You know, it's the free market will sort itself out. That's like saying, well, you don't need any rules or referees in sports because it'll all work out in the end. Like, what's the fucking point if you're not all playing by the same rules?
Yeah, and one thing that gets there is that when I see all these like Democrats, they're like, man, I'm a Bernie Sanders fan. Like, fuck libertarians.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that shit. I'm like, well, you know, your candidates are all the ones who are actually doing all the deregulation more than Republicans. And then, of course, if you ever say that, that's to them, that's worse than calling them a Nazi.
Yeah.
Because you can never criticize the holy writ of Paul Krugman, Robert Reich, Bernie Sanders, and what's her name, Elizabeth fucking Warren, or any of these people, or Hillary Clinton. They're all these, and see, to them it's like, how can you associate the two? And I'm like, look, I don't like those people. I'm not with them. I'm not with the Republicans. I'm not with them. I'm not with any fucking parties. I dislike political parties.
Yeah.
I completely abhor them. I think they're just completely stupid. For like, you want a shepherd, then you're a fucking sheep. Like, fuck you.
Barney was the second coming of Jesus, man. I swear, dude, they were fucking retarded when it come to Bernie Sanders.
Do you know that look? I know him. I guess he does this on Drunken Peasants, because if I ever listen to Drunken Peasants, I'm only listening to it on a podcast, so I don't see it.
Yeah.
But Scotty does this thing when he thinks someone's stupid, this look on his face. And like TJ has even like Scotty and I are both want to face palm, or we're like, oh, fuck this. When I hear Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, any of these political people, I just am like shaking my head. It's just so awful. Like, I had said to everyone last year, like, there's a guy, Beach, and he's been around me for years, the last 10 years. And so Beach, like, I was just like, I told Beach, like, I'll unmute you or block you or start talking to you after the election when you settle down. And it's like, wow, it's like, it's never going to end. Like, everyone is continuing on. It's like, damn.
I've had him muted for months now.
Like, he's worse than he was a year ago. You would think usually after elections, people settle down and everything. And now it's like, no, we're gonna get worse.
He came into my chat room one night spouting off all kind of stupid shit.
Welcome to the club.
And I just ignored him basically because I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. He was attacking me for some reason.
He was spouting off things that I wouldn't call it an attack. He didn't hit you in the face.
Well, yeah, you know what I meant.
He's just pissed off at anybody who's not a hardline Democrat. You don't have to be left. You don't have to be liberal. That shit doesn't matter. It's about being a Democrat. You have to be a fucking Democrat. And whatever they fucking say as a party goes. Partisan.
Mm-hmm.
No thoughtfulness in there at all. More apologetics than any religious person I've ever talked to.
Okay, let's go. Let's check this out though. I'm gonna do it. I'm going to Dev Shill's Twitter.
Oh fuck.
I haven't talked to Dev in a while.
And as the Joker says, and here we go.
But you know, Dev is different though, because at times Dev can be awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, Beach can be reasonable. He's just usually not. He's not a bad person. He's not literally a Nazi or whatever. He's just goddamn like a case in point for partisan politics.
Just drives you up
if
the
you have
wall.
no taste for that, you have no taste for Beach at present.
He's just one of those people that drives you up the wall.
Dude, fuck, man. Like I'm a pretty fucking liberal person, and I don't find much common ground with the Democratic Party.
Well, I don't anymore at all, dude. I used to consider myself left. I don't know what the fuck I am anymore because I'm definitely not what I used to say I am. Because those motherfuckers are crazy,
dude. Fuck, man.
I guess I'm gonna say like Galen said, I'm nothing. I'm not a part. I don't know what the fuck I am anymore because I'm definitely not that.
Right. And it's like I don't really have any interest of like convincing people of my political views, even though I'm pretty confident in most of them. You know what I mean? Like there's some things I haven't quite hammered out, but it's like I can make pretty good cases for having a social safety net.
Yeah.
On the other hand, like a lot of people on the left believe in like a welfare state, and I don't really agree with that either. You have to have some incentives to actually have a moving, working economy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the system stagnates and you run out of fucking money.
It don't go anywhere. Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So like every point can be pushed a little bit left or right, you know?
But it's
like I'm super liberal and I got a fucking muscle car and a big ass fucking firearm.
Because you're ruining our
no problems with that.
You're ruining our planet, you fucking asshole.
Actually, the gas mileage isn't too bad. It's not.
And you're gonna shoot people. Right now. And see that's you're talking about. You mentioned gun. See. I'm like so weird about guns because I don't like guns personally. I don't want a gun, but I don't have a problem with anybody else having a gun.
Right.
So I'm just like I think there should be better laws, stronger laws like getting guns. Because like here in Mississippi, man, it's so fucking. You can go to a fucking flea market and buy a gun.
Right. And on the other hand, like California, there's such a short list of like pistols and stuff that you can own. And they're trying to make it shorter every fucking year, and the process is a pain in the fucking ass. It's like they want you to not have a gun.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm responsible. I have plenty of fucking range time. I know that thing backwards and forwards. And, you know, like if somebody broke into my house with the intent of harming me or not, like at that point, they've done crossed the line. If I had to use the gun, I'm not going to fucking hesitate, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. It's a tool.
I'd like to ask you go ahead.
As far as I'm concerned, they fucking committed suicide.
I was just going to ask you, because this is my opinion, and I could be wrong. I think there should be like a yearly mental evaluation if you're going to own a gun.
No way.
That's a pretty fucking slippery slope, man.
Oh, dude, do you know what? Like, okay. Mental health is the number one way to stereotype or delegitimize or take people's rights away. Do you know that was Stalin's number one effect of just saying someone was crazy? Mm-hmm. First of all, people, even mentally ill people, have a right to defend themselves. Certain people, and the people who are met with the most violence are the people who are the most restricted. So it's like, okay, imagine in our where if you look at like Twitter and YouTube, imagine if you had like SJW crazies doing the mental evaluation. Would you still want those people to say you can't have a gun?
No.
Okay, then. There we go.
But
that's horseshit.
Don't have SJWs do it then.
That's exactly the problem, though. Is always the people you don't want fucking in charge of something are the ones who end up being it. That's why we need blanket freedom of amendments in the fucking first place. Freedom of speech, full fucking stop.
Yeah.
Because once you empower somebody to be a censor, you've done open Pandora's box and you can't close it again.
That's true.
You know?
And I said, now, you do know I said I could be wrong before I said it. So, you know.
Well, that's exactly why we're talking about it, right?
John, that was still some dumbass shit you said.
Oh, suck my fucking nuts. You came in here criticizing me.
You know, and I was just talking about, I own a firearm and I consider myself a responsible gun owner. And here is exactly why. Because I recognize that every single round or pellet or whatever that goes downrange is my responsibility once it leaves the fucking chamber.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It's responsible gun ownership.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But like I said, I don't have a problem with anybody owning a gun. I just personally don't carry a gun.
Right. And that's fine. Yeah. I don't think that you should own a gun. On the other hand, there are countries that have mandatory gun ownership and military participation as just part of the culture. And those countries tend to have very, very low gun fatalities and things like that.
Yeah. And one of the reasons I personally decided not to go is because I decided this years ago when I was in my 20s because I had an anger problem.
You couldn't be responsible with it?
Yeah. I had a bad anger problem back then. Now, I don't really have that problem now, but I just still go by them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was you going to say, Gavin, before I start talking about the gun?
Oh, yeah. Let me get it back up real quick.
But I actually agree with you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say I actually agree with your tack on it. If you don't feel like you can be responsible for it, then don't have it. Don't expose yourself to it. Same thing if you know goddamn well you're an alcoholic, you shouldn't have booze in your house.
Okay, speaking of Dev Shell, Sketchy White Dude's favorite Twitter user. He said there's a thing called, it says cancer_feminism says all lives matter. They put winning the election makes him our legitimate president. Yet this is somehow too hard for liberals to understand. And he was tweeting something, and he was tweeting this at Dev Shell to another post of his, which I can't see right now. Let me go to it. Because Dev Shell said, stop calling him President Trump. He is not a legitimate president, does not deserve the honor. Okay. And then Dev Shell responded by saying he lost the Democratic election, which was interfered with by a foreign power, yet ignorant inbred fuckwits don't understand democracy. Okay. I have to break this down. Okay. When they had the FBI in a congressional hearing and Clapper of the intelligence, they had all these heads up there and they asked them point blank, was the election interfered with? Did it change the outcome and did any of that? And they said no, it did not in any matter. And that's a fact that it didn't. There might have been some people who did this or that, but there was nothing that changed the election results. It never interfered with anything. And that's a fact, and it will not change. It's been investigated. They stated this. But, and it is a demo, and Sketchy got into this with Dev Show before, and Dev Show was picking a fight, by the way. And about what democracy is, and that he was elected democracy, and he was like, no, you need to with the military coup. And Sketchy said, I'm for democracy, and he was just basic. Dev was saying, fuck democracy, we need to reinstall Hillary. And he's like, that's not how it works. And he said, well, of course not, but we need a coup right now and a military government. And we're like, wait a minute. So you want to go through the NSA, the intelligence communities that are fucking things up, spreading leaks, and doing all this bullshit with this partisan garbage, and for various reasons, which, people from Carl Bernstein to Grinwald, all these are crying like this is like, if you go back to the WMD thing, if you put false information, we could go to war through false information. Well, people in the intelligence community are putting out false information right now and doing it for partisan political matters. to change inner politics and using outer politics again. So for whatever power grabs people are going for, they manipulate things with that. This is a very dangerous precedent that has shown things that are, you know, and so, but here it is. He's saying that ignorant, inbred fucks don't understand democracy. Dev, like, you really need to eat what you're fucking saying here, because you've been an anti-dialogue, ideologue who abhors even people who care about you, because you're so, and all you get on every day on Twitter and tell people to go fuck themselves and all caps. Like, I'm actually concerned about Dev's mental health. And it's like, how do I approach him? It's like, you know, like, he's so full of anger. I keep, and like people like Beach, I'm like, well, I'm like, well, they'll calm down. And it's just seeing them not calm down. I'm like, what is happening to their blood pressure? I know that if I went and acted in this, he's saying this stuff about democracy and saying this pure hypocritical shit and raging every day, I think I would die. I mean, it's not good. And I'm actually concerned about Dev's health because, you know, I know his own health problems and his blood pressure issues and things. And I just find that concerning. But, you know, how do you talk to a person? Because if you talk to them when they're that angry, they just get angrier. And this is one of the problems on the internet, is even when you care about a person, and they're so full of rage, how do you approach a person with just pure rage? And you see it every day.
It reminds me a lot of people that are really deep into the conspiracy theory stuff, or like hardcore fundamentalist Christians. And let me explain, like, if you believe that there is a demon behind every goddamn bush and that they are responsible for every fucking thing, you're going to see him constantly. Every fucking thing is demonically influenced. Same thing, conspiracy theories. They are out to get us. You know, you're going to be fucking paranoid and hostile. Right? And it's kind of the same fucking thing. I'm seeing the exact same patterns of behavior right now about, like, Trump being elected, of all things. It's like, holy fuck. If you see a fascist behind every fucking bush, you're gonna find him everywhere you look. You know, like, if that's the way you're thinking, you're gonna find what you're looking for.
If you're looking for it, you're gonna find it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I've worded that poorly, but
no, I'm dumbass. I understand dumb, but yeah, you worded it just fine. But yeah, that makes sense. It definitely makes sense. So yeah, we've been going a couple hours, well, 3 hours actually. So I think I'm going to end this pretty soon. So if you got any big final thoughts, Mr. Halcyon?
I'll have to think about it. You have to give me another hour.
Oh, motherfucker. I love you, but you piss me off. But I'm going out to Seattle next month, I think.
So was Tommy in this room earlier or what?
He was in the chat. He came in and said gayness and then left. Okay.
Well, where was he in this chat? I'm looking for him. Am I a mod in this room or not?
This is the other channel, the Pimpmunk X1. I don't know. Say something and I'll see. If you're not, I'll make you one.
Okay.
I think you are, but you may not be. I don't know.
No, I'm not.
Okay, well,
like, I'm not even a mod anymore. I've lost all power.
This is the new channel, though. This is the other. This is not my main channel.
Well, what are you doing with your main channel?
I'm starting to make videos again.
With the Pimpmunk experience ever going to happen?
It's going to, but well, actually, me and Sketchy was talking about doing our little thing that I thought was a good idea. Me and him doing a show. Go ahead.
The Sketchy Pimpmunk experience.
The Sketchy Pimp, yeah. But it's basically, instead of having like a full panel, we'll bring on one or two, like sometimes we'll bring on one guest, and then sometimes we'll bring on two guests to have a debate or whatever. But, you know, instead of having like a full fucking like 5, 6, 8 people, it'll be just a small me, him, and a couple other people. And we'll have a topic every, you know.
Do you want to know what I would pay to watch right now after I get off?
If you insult me, I'm going to beat your ass.
I would pay to see the video of Sketchy spending like an hour discussing, and like there was an argument where Sketchy was putting the let's just say it, he was pulling the no punches on Rob DeRusso from
Oh
back in the
God!
day.
Oh God!
Man, I would pay to see that shit.
I tell you what, the funniest argument I've ever seen, Gannon, was the night Sketchy and Randy had it out.
Oh shit!
And it was, I honestly,
I was trying to take it easy on him.
it took everything I had not to just bust out laughing, because Sketchy got real mad. Sketchy said, "Listen here, little man," and when he said that, I started laughing. I couldn't help it. It was so funny because Randy came in, he tried to play the friend card with me, right? He come in and said, "I'm here to talk to Pimp, Sketchy, not you. I'm here to talk to my friend. You're not my friend. I'm here to talk." I'm like, "Hey, but this is between y'all, bitches. This ain't me." You know. But yeah, Randy had some of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard in my life. I mean, I'm not even I'm not an intellectual person. I'm not stupid, but I'm not, an intellect. But
well, I've seen you wreck his shit a few times. So.
Yeah, and he told me when he said, Pimp, you can't debate me. He said, "I'm a better debater," and I'm like, "Dude, I make you look stupid every fucking time we talk." Because he actually said, and I am not lying, Sketchy was there. They were talking about equality of women and men in science and stuff. And he was saying that women were not equal. And he said, he said they didn't get the same education. And I looked at him and I said, "Well, Randy, don't they get the same books in school?" And he said, "No." He absolutely said they do not get the same books in school. And I was like, "You're a sad little man." Because, like I said, when you make me look like a fucking genius, you're pretty stupid.
That was pretty rough. D was trying to help. Damien was trying to help him, like, come to some kind of reasonable position.
Damien. I feel sorry for Damien because Damien gave him an out. Damien gave Randy an out, and then Randy turned on Damien.
Yep. That was sad.
I was like, "Oh, God damn."
That was a long time ago. I haven't even thought about that guy in a fucking year.
It's been a while. Oh, it has been over. Well, it's been over a year now, hasn't it? It's because that shit happened because that was around the time we did the fundraiser. That was like November of 2015, I think, or December of 2015, something like that.
If only Randy could have gotten on and lost in a press.
Yeah, I mean, that was. You didn't even like. That's what I told D when I was like, Randy was like pissed off because I didn't bring him on. I said, "And Galen don't even like Randy." But it was
Danielle had asked me like what she should do, and I was like in bed and sick.
Mm-hmm.
And then I uttered some things, and I had told Chris something, and I can't really recall because I was I had bad fever.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
was really fucking sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember telling Danielle, like, I said, "You should have diversity of people. You should have a lot of people." And I told her, like, I told her two names. I said, "Go get Willow, the trans atheist," and I said, "Go get Steve Shives."
Mm-hmm. I remember that, and I invited Steve Shives. Multiple people did. We gave him,
and then he lied about it.
Mm-hmm. He lied and said he wasn't invited, but I invited him. I know there's a bunch of people that invited him.
And I looked, and like there was messages from Danielle to him, and he did get them, and he lied. He straight up lied.
Yeah, he lied. He's a piece of shit. He just didn't want to help you.
But of course, he did help Jenny McDermott.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He did a fundraiser for Jenny McDermott.
And then after she was exposed and dog dropping and doing all this vicious stuff and flagging and doing all kinds of nasty shit, he was still defending her. And here's another thing. I got to do this. Sorry, Sketchy. I got to do this. So there's this guy named Robert Marmolejo, okay?
Oh, man.
Yeah, Beetlejuice!
Don't say it two more times.
Beetlejuice! I had to.
But that was
because fuck that guy. I just want to talk about it. There's this guy who is the I think he's like the 32-year-old virgin. He's working up to get to 40. So this is a guy, he lives somewhere in America. I wouldn't dox him, you know. So unlike what he does to other people, and he's an internet stalker, malicious guy, and he was with that Action Network where he was going after young teenage girls and children who feel harassed, so he could get them with Skype conversations to tell them to, you know, to be his cam girls and stuff. I mean, this is a nasty, disgusting individual. I'm surprised this guy didn't wind up in jail over what he did. Anyway, that guy has been friends with Steve Shives, and even after all that stuff happened, Steve Shives, he just wouldn't talk about that because that would hurt his image. He never said, okay, hey, this is what I have to say. Now, I want to differentiate one thing for Steve Shives here. On one hand, he does this whole narrative, and he changes subjects, and he's for flagging, and he literally does things, and he's worked with Robert Marmolejo. That is disgusting. I just want to say that anyone who's friends with Steve Shives in any way, and, you know, here's a guy who's worked with Robert Marmolejo. And if you worked with Robert Marmolejo, you know, then you're okay with your own channel and everyone you know being flagged down and having someone stalk you or be a sexual predator to you. That's disgusting. Like I don't know how you look in the fucking mirror. And so we talked about people and good people, but there are some really bad people out there too. Just remember that. Now, when you listen to all these SJWs, they act like everyone's a bad person, but there's this one guy. There are a few of them who are really, really bad apples. Now, Steve Shives, you wouldn't say he's like the worst apple, but I wouldn't even say he's like the banality of evil. I would say that Steve Shives, he knows what Robert Marmolejo is, and he's used and gotten help from this guy, and he won't call him out. Now, what do you think of a person who, when you know there's something wrong, something unethical and even evil, let's just get down to it. When you know there's something in defining evil as something unethical that's counterproductive to your life and all those around you, and you know that there's this guy who's sitting next to you who is going to lie and work with that problem and exploit it and fuck you over and everyone you know. And even when everyone has called it out, he's still doing it. And working and doing the same tactics himself, but on a low-key mode, because he don't want to get called out like Robert Marmolejo did.
Yeah.
You know, why do we have a guy like Steve Shives who just happens to talk to a lot of teenage girls himself and have their phone numbers?
That's so weird.
No, I just want to say, and then he wants to talk about what's appropriate.
Sketchy.
I've said to Shayra, how would you feel if your daughter, or like Sketchy, if your daughter, you found out Steve Shives was talking to her late at night? I'm just going to tell you right now, Steve Shives, for a guy who talks about feminism and a lot of these other people who talk about women's rights and girls, I want to say right now, and I want to publicly state this, and you could quote me on it.
Mm-hmm.
I cast suspicion, I'm not character assassinating him, that I do know for a fact that Robert Marmolejo did these things, and I think that Steve Shives is a coward, and people like that. But it's not just the people who didn't call Steve Shives out. Most of the people who criticize Steve Shives, a lot of them, don't call him out for a lot of the nasty shit he does, and the people and the things that he did. I was really proud of TJ when he came out last year. Mm-hmm. Now, I helped TJ with that, but TJ did a very ethical video because he didn't hit below the belt. He hit him straight in the face and said, "Hey, motherfucker, I'm criticizing you fairly." And Steve hated it. That's why he blocked me and everyone else, a lot of other people, because he hated being called out fairly. Because then he couldn't have... See, Steve likes being the victim. He likes people. He wants people to talk to him bad. And that's what we have to understand. A lot of these people put out a narrative, and it's like they're baiting you into something.
Yeah.
So you can't take the bait. You can't take the fucking bait. So you got to look at these people like Robert Marmolejo. He plays games and wars of attrition. You got people who are nuts. They don't have a job. Their only fucking goal every fucking day is to fuck with people and harass you, and they want to see you go fucking nuts and lose, and you feel like shit because they feel like shit. They want to infect you with it. And that, the internet is a cesspool. There are some people, but not everyone's like that.
Yeah.
So let's not lose and think that everyone's a Robert Marmolejo. They're not.
Sketchy.
And I think that sometimes we feel like everyone's a Robert Marmolejo. They're not. And I want to say something positive about the internet. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
I met John and Sketchy through the internet.
Yeah.
I met good people. I met Danielle. I met Shayra. I met a lot of people throughout my life through the internet, and it's a great tool. So don't throw it away or get bitter about it.
Yeah,
if you see bad, consider your duty to do better, and to feel, if you like. I have a friend who died. He got murdered here in New Orleans. When he died, I said, "There's a hole in the world. We all have to do more to make up for his loss. And when you see something bad, we have to make up for where we see that and do better."
Yeah.
And we have to take a constructive, critical. When we see people being ignorant, that means I have to be even more critical and even more aware.
Yeah, that's a good point, and you're right. The internet is, I mean, it can be great because, like you said, I've met awesome people. If it wasn't for the internet, I would have never been able to hang out with Galen in New Orleans and, you know, really get to know him some. And Sketchy, I've not met Sketchy yet, but I will. And these are good people, and these two people right here, along with Landon Cartneau, I considered three of my, you know, better friends. And you know, it's internet, and I know Raisin Girl has a problem with considering internet people real people, but you know, they're real people and they're real friends. And yeah, we come on, we'll fucking insult each other. But these two know that if I can, I'll help them, and I know the same from them. Yeah. We've done that for each other. Well, Galen has helped me. I have helped Galen. Sketchy has helped me. I've helped Sketchy.
Right. You know? And I don't see the internet as like a separate thing from real life.
No, it's real.
That allows us to communicate.
It's all real.
Yeah.
It's all real.
Because we're real.
Really talking. We're all
we're real people. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't have like an internet persona and a in real life persona, in-person persona, you know? It's all the same shit to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the internet is so part of the world. It is reality. I mean, it's more real than anything, really, if you think about it.
Right.
I mean, it really is. It's because we live on the internet, basically. People live.
It's like a meta consciousness at this point.
Yeah. I mean, we actually live on the internet. I mean, it's major part of fucking life.
Right. Like I'm living in one of the least populated areas I've ever lived in my life because I grew up in the basin in Southern California and then in Northern California in the Bay Area, like cities with the populations of a lot of states in this country. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Here, it's like if I didn't expand my horizons, I'd be crawling up the fucking walls in a lot of senses. And I think a lot of people in this chat right now are in exactly the same situation I am.
Oh, absolutely. Well, like me, well, I mean, even though I have, you know, the last year got to travel some, but I mean, I live in a fucking bumfuck Mississippi.
Right.
I mean, I live in I mean, I've experienced the world through the internet, and like I said before, I'm not an intellect. Everybody knows that I'm not, but I have learned a lot from the internet. Like Galen has taught me so much. I mean, Galen is one of my greatest teachers in life, and it's because of the internet. Landon has taught me so much. It's Sketchy. I mean, those three people have taught me more and educated me more than any fucking school ever did.
Because you wanted to be. You wanted to listen, you know?
Yeah, and
all I can give you is my perspective, too. So if you've learned something from it, it's you that's learned it, not me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so the internet means a lot to me, but not, is it ugly? Yes, it can be very ugly. And like Galen said, you know, see the ugly, but also see the beauty in it.
Well, it's an amplification of human nature. So we're capable of all the same actions, beautiful or ugly, on any medium.
Yeah. So listen, Raisin Girl, God damn it. You fucking asshole.
Well, no, don't call her an asshole. Just you got to tell her shut up, whore. That's your tagline.
No, Liz is shut up whore though.
No. Like I don't want really. I'm nothing against Liz and nothing against like. Look, I would prefer calling Raisin Girl a whore rather than Liz because I just don't want to think of Liz in any sexual manner.
God damn it, Galen. God damn it, Galen.
Savage motherfucker.
You mean asshole motherfucker.
I just don't.
You're mean, Galen. You're fucking mean.
You know,
you're a dick.
And what's ironic is that
Liz
Reptile. Let me say this about Liz. She actually has done a lot of good for people in these circles.
Well, she does.
And she took on both of our criticisms about her video making because she asked us explicitly, and both Galen and I are blunt motherfuckers. She took on all that criticism and actually did way fucking better. And her channel's grown as a result, too.
Yeah, she's good.
So I'm not taking credit for that. I'm giving her credit for
willing
to take an objective look at herself.
Well, that's a big thing. You got to be willing to change and willing to learn. And
again, I don't want to see her in a sexual way. It's just
God damn it, Galen. You said that. Don't be.
But I don't.
Quit sticking. Quit stabbing the stick.
But look, let's be sticks and stabbing things and putting them in things out of this.
You want to think about me in a sexual way, don't you?
No.
Yes,
you're included, and especially Sketchy. Like that's just not happening.
Sketchy's an attractive Adrian Brody looking motherfucker. I'd suck his dick.
Well, that's between the two of you.
I'm like a fetish embodied. Like you got to have a very, very specific type of guy in mind.
I'll never forget when I first met Sketchy, though. I thought he was a Jew. I really did. And I asked him, I said, "Are you a fucking Jew?" He said, "No, I'm not a goddamn
No,
Jew."
He's not a Jew. Matthew Ingram is a Jew.
Matthew Ingram. What was I calling him in New Orleans? Hiram. I was calling him Hiram. Come here, Hiram. He does look like a little redheaded Jew, man. Sketch. I'll tell you what was so funny about that. Galen said, "I can't believe you did that, John." We were sitting in that room, and I was sitting on the bed, and Ingram and Galen was standing up in front of me, and I just looked over, and there was Ingram's balls, and I punched him. I punched him in the balls, hard, and he went down, and Galen was like, "John, I can't believe you did that." I was like, "Fuck yeah, I did."
Now notice, everyone notice, okay, that John, who he punched and who he didn't punch.
I'll punch you in the balls, motherfucker.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I will. No, that's a challenge now.
Well, guess what? I believe, I think you, look, for the teeth that you helped give me, I'll take from you.
Okay. Shit, nigga. You better pack a lunch if you want to jump on this.
They're gonna be called. Your new nickname is gonna be Applesauce.
Dude, I'll tell you what, Skate, you'll respect this. You know, you was on the streets just like me. You know, a lot of fights and shit. But we were in Charlotte. This was after a Raisin Girl left. Me, Trini, and Gage was standing outside, and there's this dude. He looked like he's been in a few scraps. He did. But he wanted to impress this black stripper girl that was up there talking to us. And he started saying, talk about being a baddie. He said, "Oh, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm that guy." I just stood up and looked at them. I said, "Well, it's time to go." And I just walked up because it was embarrassing. He was trying to be a badass. It was just so embarrassing.
You know, I actually like playing down shit when I think shit's going to go down. Absolutely. Being like, I don't know shit about fighting, man.
Look, not too long ago, I had to, just in the last few days, I walked over to my parents' house, and I was walking all these places, and Danielle's gone for a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been walking a lot, and I was walking all these neighborhoods around here, and I'm in Metairie. I'm not literally in New Orleans, even though it's New Orleans metropolitan area. I've always lived traditionally, but still, I'm walking down, and there's a car going down, and it's slow. And then I'm passing and go by another car and kind of stop and, fooling with my phone. And it's kind of like, I believe in being inconspicuous when you're watching someone else or you think they're watching you. And it's like, like, I don't believe in showing off that you're a badass. I think that you don't show that you're defensive. A person who is like, if you go into a really bad neighborhood and you want to show off that you like have a weapon, or you're going to be a badass, like you're going to like fuck some people up, they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
You try to look as inconspicuous, but you also, so you don't get, somebody don't come into it, that you're ready to like throw down. But you also, like, I go by a car, I'm ready to like break a window. I'm like, I'm in a good neighborhood. I'm like, damn, these old habits die hard. And I was walking and I was seeing like conditioning, what it does to you, to myself. And you're telling me about this guy, and he's showing off that like he's a badass, and it was like, and I'm not picking on him here, but when I heard you say that, the first thing I thought was like, what a pussy.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. That was my thought when he started that. I was like, this guy probably couldn't whoop half my ass.
Well, that's a person. If you got something, you don't show it. That's for sure. And you do not, because that's the dumbest thing you could do in a certain neighborhood.
Definitely on the street. Let me tell you something. Back when I was young, like Sketchy said, you got to play it down, because I used to play it down like, oh, I'm just a big old goofball. I'm slow. I can't do nothing. I can't. There's no way. Because you want the element of surprise. You want that motherfucker. Oh, wait a minute. This is not what he said he was. I used to do that shit all the time, like, because I walk like dead license falling off my body. But when I fight, I'm pretty fast for a fat guy, and plus, I got the strength. But you got to play it down. You have to play it down, and you don't want. Even if you are tough and you sit there and tell everybody you're fucking tough, then you're an idiot.
Yeah,
you're a fucking idiot, because you're asking to. And let me tell you something. Half the fights that I won, I hurt worse than the ones that I lost.
Oh, Jesus, man. You remind me of something that happened to me, like, I don't know, 10 years ago. So I'm working this job. I'm running a huge network for this company, right? Mm-hmm. And I got some buddies working for me, and everything's fucking going wrong on this job. It's a fucking catastrophe. Everybody's sick from the weather and everything. And so we decide in the middle of the fucking work week to get really fucking wasted. And for some reason, we're drinking gin. Mm-hmm. So it went really fucking badly. So this buddy of mine is this like 6'7" big Germanic dude. And we get into it like playfully at first, but we beat the shit out of each other. So the next day we wake up and realize, oh, fuck, it's a work day. And I can't even sit up in bed. My whole chest cavity's swollen, dude. Like my heart's having a hard time fucking beating. He's got a black eye and a missing fucking tooth. And so we go in the next morning and we're talking to the general contractor, because we're doing the low voltage stuff. We're like, we're waiting for this fucking electrician to get the fuck out of our way. He's like a week late running his shit. We're talking mad shit about this electrician, and we're all pissed off. We're all beat the fuck up and hungover. And so the general's laughing, and who walks in but the fucking electrician? So the general contractor is this old Santa Claus looking motherfucker, and he's like, these kids are talking shit about you. And he's like, well, what are you going to do about it? They think you're a punk ass bitch. And he starts talking mad shit on this guy. So he's getting worked up. He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then he looks over at my friend, who's got this big guy who's got a black eye and a missing fucking tooth. And he's just grinning at him. And he's like, what happened to him? He's like, that fucking guy did it. Mm. He's like, oh, I'm going to go work on my cables. You're goddamn right you are.
Yeah, it's.
But if I had fucking bragged about it, it wouldn't mean anything. The fact that this other guy was like, yeah, this fucking skinny guy you think is nothing, he beat my ass the other night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that speaks a lot more.
Yeah, you just want to like.
But it's a good thing that he pushed out, because I could barely lift my fucking arm above my shoulder, dude. I was fucked
that
up.
happened to me.
I would have whooped my ass that day.
When I was working the bar one night, I got in this big fucking scramble, and basically my knuckle, this knuckle right here is all fucked up. It was up here. For some reason, I like shoved my knuckle up in my hand when I hit the dude. Well, the very next day, I was at a bar myself, but not as working. I was just there. I got got a fight, and I forgot about my fucking hand, my knuckle, and I went to hit, and then my knuckle was up to here. So yeah, it's fucked up, dude. So some of the fights that I won, I actually hurt myself worse than I actually.
Well, exactly, man. Like, fuck, I had to go to the fucking hospital and get EKGs and shit.
Yeah.
Motherfucker hit me in the heart.
Yeah. One of the hardest I've ever been hit was when I got hit with a bar stool.
Oh,
that was fucked up.
It ain't like the movies where they shatter.
No, they didn't. No. There's some strong fucking stools.
Same thing with beer bottles.
They're made for like people, because there's a lot of fat people go to bars. They're made for motherfuckers to sit on and not break, so they don't shatter like they do in Jackie Chan movies.
It's like getting hit by 4 baseball bats.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! When he hit me, I was like, it was like just fucking stars and blood squirting, and I'm like, that didn't feel good. And I've been hit with the whiskey bottle's also hard to get hit. The bottom of it, I got hit right here. They gave me a concussion. So yeah.
Well, I've been diagnosed as Cool Hand Luke before by a doctor, and there's a guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was a guy that, and this gets into something where it wound up in a lawsuit. So I'm going to keep this short, but there's a guy that was a lot bigger than me.
Yeah.
I was simply trying to do something at a job, and he was, let's just say he was a lackey for somebody else. And this guy was bigger than me. I mean, his hands, like both of you consider me a big dude, right? I'm almost 6'4".
Yeah.
I look small to this guy. My hands, like he could hold like 4 or 5 of my hands in his hand.
Big old skillet hand.
And he is a strong, like rock, like more than Pimp. Like literally this guy could pick Pimp, me and Chris up and just throw us across a room with ease. This is a strong motherfucker.
Man, strong motherfucker pick my fat ass up.
I'm just saying that he could have done it. I'm telling you, the guy's strong. This guy's been to prison before, and he survived, and he was the one beating everyone else up.
Damn.
So he's been in Angola.
Yeah. Oh, that's the roughest prison in America too.
They're right, and he survived there. So this guy got it in with me, and they was kind of sent after me, and I was like, okay. And so he punched me, and I blocked him. I gotta tell you, man, I thought he was gonna break my arm, but I blocked him, and he came at me again, and he picked me up, and he literally threw me so far, and I hit a wall on the other side of the building. Like he picked me up and threw me, and then I came back, and I was like, "Is that all you got?" I was like,
yeah, you play it.
I got him, but I got him, and he was like, I think he was gonna murder me. And I was just like, let's do it. Like, and I said, number one, I only ask you one thing. And I smiled at him. And I said, make it as bloody as hell.
There you go.
And I said, you give it to me. Everything you got, motherfucker. He's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And I said, what do you got? And I smacked him in his face. And I just like fucking with him. I was like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I ain't stopping. And like, he finally had to walk away because he knew. I was like, I dare you to kill me. Like, fuck you. But I was like, and I even told him, I needed better. I mean, you're going to do that? You're just making my lawsuit against everybody better.
And once you start fighting, you have to get that mentality. Well, you can't stop. Like, I mean, and you got to survive. Like, you know, people said I'm gross because I bit that dude's nut that time. But, you know, dude was whipping my ass. I had to figure out how to get my ass not whipped. So I bit him in the balls.
So I got the guy on the run, where I psyched him out. But in the end, if he would have bludgeoned me, I would have had a better lawsuit, and I go to the hospital. If I'd have died, my family would have had some. I had a lawyer. So
80% of fighting mental.
After that happened, when I got off work, he already left, and I went running down the street to get out of there. And I went and chased him down into the crowds in the French Quarter, and I was taunting him like, "Hey, motherfucker!" And I kept taunting him. He was screaming at me. He was running. But you got to get, you know, part of fighting also is psychology. It really is. That's it. It's the psychological aspect, not just brute force. Now, this guy, was way more. Like, this guy was pure brute force. This guy could have killed me with a punch to the head. He would have killed me, probably. He could have, or at least put me in the hospital. He could have given me brain damage.
Yeah.
Like, that guy could have killed all of us. Like, everyone in the chat combined, this guy could have fought a whole bunch of people and killed them. But, like, my psychology, like, I just tore him apart.
Well,
that's part of fighting, because
80% of it is mental.
come on, as anybody knows who's read Sun Tzu, it's the person who does the least fighting can win too. It's that guy can go out and smash people, and where does he got nothing. And by the way, he still lost. I still got it where he lost his job.
Okay, I respect your philosophy of Sun Tzu, but Sun Tzu ain't never been to some of the bars I've been in either, motherfucker. No, I'm joking. That was a stupid joke. But yeah, you're right though. I found a lot of it is mental when I'm back in the. Because like I said, I want to make this perfectly clear. I do not fight anymore. I haven't been in a fight in like 10 years. Well, one fight in 10 years, and that was because somebody molested a child and I beat the fuck out of them. But so I don't do that anymore. This was in my 20s, and I'm not bragging about fighting. It's not a good thing. I wasn't. I'm not bragging about what I did. I was stupid half the time, but I was a young punk who was confused and I actually wanted to get hurt. That's what's crazy. I wanted to lose fights. I wanted to lose, but I was just kind of tough, and I won a lot of them. I did lose some. Don't get me wrong, but it was just I didn't try to lose. I just wanted to lose. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't try to lose. I mean, when I fought. But it's so stupid, and I know Sketchy and Galen saying the same thing. We're not advocating for fighting and shit like that. We're just talking about our past.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I tried to avoid the last couple I was in.
Yeah.
And like could not. So, and I'm kind of embarrassed about them even now. Even though they're like funny stories now, like it was like, oh god damn it at the time. So yeah, now like when you get older, you appreciate peace a lot fucking more.
Oh God, I do, and I appreciate not hurting. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Like I said, dude, I'd wake up in the mornings, like you said, with your chest, just not want to get out of bed because if you took a step, it's gonna fucking hurt.
Dude, I couldn't even sit up.
Because I've been hit with just about any object you think of. I was hit with a baseball bat one time in my back. I'm lucky they didn't hit me in the fucking head. That was stupid. Hit me in the back with a baseball bat. He should have hit me in the head.
Ow. Ooh.
But he did, son. He hit me right in the back. That's the reason my back hurts a lot, I think. That motherfucker fucked me up. But I've been cut with beer bottles, dude. Smashed a beer bottle, sliced me up. That was fun. Because I'd rather be stabbed than sliced.
One scene where it was like I could get my fighting aggression out in like a good spirited way was like in the punk rock scene back in the day. And it doesn't really exist in the same way.
Y'all was crazy motherfuckers.
But yeah, dude, like, yeah, it was the same kind of feeling, like the better feeling of fighting, but without the intent to kill each other. We were just getting
it's different. It's different. These days, a motherfucker don't go outside and swing fists. They go outside and shoot each other. And it's way back when we were teenagers. You solve problems by swinging your fist.
Well, a lot of people in those neighborhoods had guns. I just didn't.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I didn't want to escalate it like that. And a lot of times I ran away.
But you're talking about the punk scene,
Well, yeah.
I'm talking about how y'all did the fighting and stuff. It was kind of that way, like in the scene that I was in. It just wasn't punk. It was more of a blues and rock and country scene,
Right.
But it was just
rough crowd.
Rough crowd, yeah. And exactly. Now,
one of the nice things about our scene was like it wasn't like a lot of people have been in metal pits, but they've never been in like an old school punk pit.
Yeah.
In a metal pit, motherfuckers will like kick you in the face while you're down. Like there's not really a spirit to it.
Y'all crazy. Y'all was crazy. I went to one punk.
In punk rock, we'll kick your ass, but we'll pick you up off the floor.
Exactly.
It's just for fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I went to one.
There's a spirit of like brotherhood.
I went to one punk bar in my life, and back when I was young, and it was like that. It was that scene you're talking about, and I was laughing because I thought it was funny, And I thought it was cool that people were doing that shit. You know, they'd knock you down, pick you up, and shit like that. And I didn't get in a fight that night, but still, I thought it was a cool scene. It just wasn't really my style, but I'm a blues dude. Yeah.
I like blues too.
Yeah.
There was no blues scene in Southern California though.
Yeah. Well, see, I partied in Memphis all the time. And that's where I did most of my hanging was in Memphis. And Memphis is a big blues scene. Yeah. So that's how I kind of got to be a blues junkie. But yeah, it's cool. And you know, streets are streets. I don't give a fuck. Well, you know, a lot of people don't think about it, but Memphis is a dangerous place. And I got a lot of fucking fights in Memphis. God damn. Ooh, Lord Jesus. I fought 3 black dudes one night, and that was a mistake. Because I was at a convenience. Yeah. What happened was I was drunk. I was at a convenience store. And I was walking out, and they was.
Wait a minute. I have to ask this just for procedural reasons. Okay, you're at a drugstore, like a pharmacy, like a Walgreens.
No, a convenience store, like a 7-Eleven.
Okay. I'm still. It's like you're in a, like. Okay, it's like what the fuck, dude.
I was drunk. I was coming from a bar.
I don't care if you're drunk. I met drunk people in a convenience store.
Well, let me tell you a goddamn story.
God damn, you must be one stupid inbred hick.
I
am. Steph Shell's talking about.
Anyways, I was walking out the store. They were playing this music, and I was the smartass. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, I was the smartass. I started singing "Hank Jr." music just to piss them off. I stood by the gas. And something I started singing at the South or the one where they had it made. I was being a fucking asshole. And the black guy comes like, "You trying to start shit?" I'm like, "That's exactly what I'm doing." And he swung at me, and I knocked the fuck out of him. I mean, I pretty much knocked him out. I mean, he was gone. But I didn't see the other little motherfucker behind me. And he jumped on me like a fucking tiger, and goddamn, he was beating the fuck out of my head. I mean, it was coming from everywhere. And then the other guy came back and kicked me, and I was like, "Well, I shouldn't have done that." But I was stupid. I was really stupid.
So that's the night you got your brain damage.
Well, one of the nights anyway. That's probably the night I probably got my brain damage when I got hit by that fucking bar stool. That was one of the worst pains. I'll say when I got hit by that bar stool. That was a fucked up. And the night I got the pool stick right across my face. That was pretty painful too.
Probably the hardest I've ever been hit in the head wasn't by a fist. The guy hit me so fucking hard that it lifted me up off the ground like a fucking cartoon or some shit. I saw my own feet in midair and hit directly on the fucking concrete. Boom, on the back of my head. That almost fucking knocked me out. That's as close as I've ever been to being knocked out in a fight.
You ever been stomped directly in the face?
Yeah.
That's hard.
Look at my fucking face, dude. What do you think?
Well, I just think I just thought you were born with a bad nose. No, I'm joking.
No, I was straight when I was a kid.
Well, you know, you get punched a lot, you know, but getting.
I was thankful. It would be worse, honestly. I gotta give a shout out to some of my friends back in the day. If they hadn't had the balls to reset my nose for me while I was still in shock, my nose would be much worse than it is now. Because it's been reset by non-professionals like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's good.
But fighting is stupid. I was stupid in my young days for doing that shit.
It's been a while since I've been in a fight too. It was before Katrina, and it was this one guy, and it was again at that work. It's another guy, but this guy, he straight up was doing some shit, and he attacked me. He was fucking good. He was like literally put to attack me. Another guy's been to Angola, but he fought a lot more than the other dude because the other dude had his strength. This guy was still pretty fucking strong and big. Mm-hmm. He was like my equal in size, but he has a lot more fighting experience than me. And so he thought he could intimidate me. I was like, okay. And then if he did something, I did it right back. And I was like, what are you going to do next? I was like, and I would just put my hands down, like, do it. Like, do what you go. And I'm not even going to put up any defense. You do it, and you could put up a defense, and I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And then I'll stop, and you could do something to me. And he was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I beat him up bloody. Like, I beat the shit out of him.
Mm.
I fucked that dude up, and then I tore off his fucking goddamn uniform and kicked him in the fucking face. And he left his like fucking underwear covered in blood.
Damn. You declothed him. Why'd you declothe him?
He ripped my fucking work clothes to bits in my suit. And so I beat the shit out of him.
But the thing that disturbs me is the laugh you just gave. It was kind of an evil laugh.
It was funny because the dude was shocked and on the floor, and he's like blood everywhere, and I had blood all over me. So
yeah, well, I tell you.
And then I went upstairs, got some other clothes from the owner, and then I washed off my face with a rag, and I went right back to work. The swollen fucking face.
Well, I actually apologize to the person that I beat up the worst. I caught a dude in the bed with my girlfriend.
Well, I'm not apologizing to this guy. I'm going to call him Kenny. I'm not going to apologize to him. You know why?
Fuck him. That's my.
Fuck that guy.
Well, the dude
I'm sketchy. Ain't going to apologize to this guy.
Because the reason I bring up.
Hell no. He deserved every fucking punch.
Well, this guy deserved he deserved what I did. Like you talked about taking his clothes off. See, this guy was naked in the bed with my girlfriend, and I dragged him outside in the street where everybody could see him get his ass beat. And I did things to him that I shouldn't have done. And years later, it was like fucking 15 years later, I seen him. I walked up to him, and when I walked up to him in the store, his eyes got like, he was like fucking frightened. And I'm like, dude, I'm not here to hurt you. And I shook his hand and I apologized. And he did me wrong. But yeah.
Now there was another time, and it was around that same period. I got into it with several people, and it was something ugly that happened. And I would have to say that most people, if they would have been in this situation, would have killed the person. Now, I was in a position with a weapon, seeing what these people were doing, and I stopped what was going on, but I was furious. And I had a person, main perpetrator, and I had him with a weapon to their fucking head. I'm not going to say what it is. And at that point, I caught myself like, I could kill this person. Not would I would be justified? Yeah. Would I get away with it? It's kind of like when you see in Gone Baby Gone, he questions afterwards killing the pedophile. Okay? Mm. And I was in a situation, and there was something, I'll say there was a big crime that had happened. And I was right with a weapon to this person. And I'd stopped what was going on. But I took the weapon and I threw it, and then I walked out. Mm. And I just like, there are other ways to handle this going forward, and I will pursue handling it. And that was just ugly. But you have to be in control of yourself in situations. And I don't want to remind people when we get online, people act like, oh, I can't do shit. Oh, well, I've reached my breaking point. I want to tell you, there's so many times when I'm like, that's bullshit. You can still control yourself even when you're in the most inflammatory situation. If you have any semblance of self-awareness, you can even, it's like when people ask me, when do you meditate? Oh, well, you go in a cave and meditate. No, the time you have to be the most meditated is when you're in hell, when you're the most impassioned and most enraged in the most conflicted situations. That's when you need to think clearly. You don't do it when you're in a fucking room. That's a delusion. Like you practice when you want, if you want peace, practice it in hell. Practice peace in hell, and then you can do something with your life that has fucking value. And you don't do it by being in a fucking room segregating yourself in a safe space.
Absolutely.
No, fucking go out into the world and live. And then you know that you can live in the world. Because if you don't, if you separate yourself from the world, you don't know the world anymore.
Yeah.
And you don't want to build up such a wall of defensiveness and conditioning, like what I was saying about walking down the street. You got to be able to, like, I was seeing what I was doing. I was still like catching myself. I see that as the same as catching myself in that point of defensiveness. We can look, all these people online are so fucking defensive. Everyone is so ready to draw a knife.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. It's sad that humanity is such a tribal, petty, nasty fuck you at every turn, and then that's all people do. It's literally not only mentally healthy, it's healthy on their heart, their body, their nervous system. It's sick. It's going to take years off of their lives, and then they're unhappy. Like, I'm serious. Like, I understand if you don't like something. I don't like it either. Like, look at Dev Shell's stuff and a bunch of other people I've seen. I don't like this stuff, but I can't even express to them without getting bullshit or straw mans. If, like, I can say, hey man, I don't like this stuff either, but by the way, I'm concerned about your health. And then, you know, how am I supposed to, I find it sometimes difficult. How do I express that I just care about a person? Because they're so full of rage. It's like everyone is hulking.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they're Chewbacca, like, you know, let the Wookiee win. Like, I'm going to growl bigger than you, and I'm going to be a badass, so just let me win. Fuck you. It's like, I don't buy this let the Wookiee win shit, but sometimes I don't know what to say to you. If all you want to do is growl.
Yeah. That's true. You're right, Mr. Knowledge Man.
I don't know knowledge. I don't even believe in knowledge.
Oh,
fuck you.
Just take the compliment and shut the fuck up.
Sketchy's the wise man.
Sketchy's the gay man.
Yeah, it would be funny if Sketchy went gay.
He is gay. What do you mean went gay? The motherfucker likes cock. What are you talking about?
No, like imagine, I'll tell you if we knew Sketchy was gay. Imagine we came out and we found out like he had changed his name to Brucey. And then he had a yellow goatee.
Brett.
And,
he changed his name to Brett.
And he started like wearing a white shirt and dyeing his hair like young Eminem. Then I'd be like, okay, that dude's a faggot now.
And become all metrosexual on us.
Yeah, and then he was acting like a badass and trying to pretend like he was Run DMC from the 80s like Eminem. Then I would be like, okay, he's a faggot.
There's a black guy in the room, and I don't like when black people are in my chat room.
Yeah, I know.
Black people suck.
You racist.
I am racist.
You know, I had a whole lot of gay friends back in the day. Fewer now.
Is that right, Brucey? Is that right?
But I was just thinking, like, at the time, I thought, wow, like, that's convenient. Like, a lot of the lifestyle is very convenient. It's unfortunate that I'm not attracted to men.
Yeah, dude. I wish there was. Be less drama.
I don't know about that.
Bitches be crazy.
It's a different kind of drama, that's for sure.
Bitches be crazy, man. Bitches be crazy. No, gay guys are really dramatic. Look at Dev Shell. I like Dev, all right. I don't have any drama with Dev, so I've never really had drama with him.
With Dev Shell?
Yeah, I've never. No, I think he got mad at me one time, but
if you haven't had drama with Dev Shell, it's because you haven't talked to him enough.
Well, that's true. I haven't really talked to him a lot,
so talk to him when you have drama.
Hey, Radio Tokyo says Sketchy is the dude sitting in an inn smoking a pipe who sends you on a jersey to find something awesome. Mm-hmm. Galen is the dude in the cave who gives you your best weapon ever. And by the way, I would tell you that's yourself. And watch how you use that.
And Radio's the guy that's kissing your asses.
And Pimpmunk is the guy in a cave who's the laughing Buddha who's just sitting there farting.
That's right. I'm the laughing one. Yeah, you motherfuckers are the serious ones. I try to make people smile. You make them think, I'll make them smile. How about that? I try anyway.
So I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Like, there's something Sketchy really wants me to ask you.
Oh, don't be stupid. Go ahead.
No, but you got to promise me you will really answer this and you will take a few minutes to think about it.
If it's a legitimate question.
It's a legitimate question. I'm serious, but you can't wiggle out of this or joke. Okay, you got to really answer it.
I ask the question.
Okay, but I want an in-depth explanation and talk over it.
If I can't, you gotta do the but if I can't answer the question,
I want to know what you think of Robert Marmolejo.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know the fucking dude.
Come on.
Griff. You never heard the name?
Yeah, I do not. I only know him by what Galen's told me. So there you go. I can't answer because I don't really know the dude. I can tell you what I think about other people if you want to know, but not him. I can tell you what I think about Rob DeRusso. Rob DeRusso is the second coming of Jesus Christ, and I love him. I worship him.
Well, he's very wise,
He is a very
especially
wise
when he talks about Hillary Clinton.
Yes, and Star Wars, Hillary Wars. But
Did you know that he's not a fan of Donald Trump?
I did not know that DeRusso. Yeah, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
He actually said he is literally Hitler. That's what he said. He said he was literally Hitler.
Well, so did Ben Caruth.
Oh my God! Yeah. Do they even know what the word literally means?
Yeah, and Ben Caruth is a smart guy. He's a fucking intelligent person. It's like, what the fuck, you people? Jesus Christ. It just goes to show that everybody is vulnerable to myopic thinking.
Yeah, they are. That's right. Like, okay, if you go watch a video on Ben's channel, it's called The Caruths. TheCarruths. The Caruths. You can find it if you go to my channel and my expanded channels list. It's near the top. The Caruths on my YouTube. Anyway, and there's also like a playlist, and I have some videos of his in it, like my all-time favorite videos. And it's near, like, you can easily find it. And he has one about small town hipster, and it's a really good video, and it's about being conditioned and how he's talking about how, about feeling what it means to live in the world again, because he's been so broken up. And so when I see him so confused and the stuff that I was seeing him write online now that are just so, like, excuse me, it was just so ignorant and just ridiculous. Some of the things, like from one of the most intellectual people and most compassionate and emotionally intelligent, as well as just academically intelligent people that I've ever met. And he was talking about, I need to find a way to be in the world again. And he does this poetic video about that. And it's like, wow, you really did. You were foreseeing what you became before you were losing your way. And wow, he went off. I don't think he got the answers. But if you see, it's a beautiful video. It'll make you cry. It's so beautiful. It's painful. It's so raw and so existential. It's as good as anything anybody ever uploaded on YouTube, actually. But now he's going around saying that Trump literally is Hitler, and it's like, how did that happen? So it's just, we all have to watch ourselves and not lose our grip to be in the world. We need to, what does it mean to be in the world? And I think of those questions, and I have continually thought. I even had a poem I read sketchy when I first met him. And that poem was written in a lot of ways as a response to things that I thought about, and to that video about being in the world and how do we think and have our perspective and not get lost. But a guy like Riff, I used to be able to speak to him and talk about, there are a lot of people I knew who just, what's the word? Drowned in a sea of bullshit and pain and bitterness and ideologies. And it's like a lot of people used to, like the so-called atheist communities, they were ripping atheism, but then they drowned in ideologies in other language games. It's like, wait a minute, what are you doing? And it was hard to get anybody to show any perspective on this. And I used to try to tell TJ, it's like, they're drowning in it. And he was like, no, it's just left versus right. And it was like, no, that's not what's going on here. Yeah, don't give me that bullshit. There's a lot afoot right now, and you need to look at it. But most people want to just say what other people says, which is left and right, which you hear in like major media.
Yeah.
And that's just nonsense. It's nonsense. Complete nonsense. It's like that's what people say when they turn their brains off.
Yeah. Well, I said I was gonna leave an hour ago. You made damn sure I went an hour, didn't you, fucker? But anyways, I'm gonna end this now.
Well, don't privatize this video. Leave it up because I want
I know
Robert
privatize this, man.
Marmolejo to see it.
I know this channel. I leave them all up on this channel.
Hey, I got a question for
Yes.
Sketchy. Hey, Sketchy, do you think he'll make it to 40? Be a 40-year-old virgin?
Oh shit, I don't know. We'll have to take a pool on that.
Well, I bet I could cock block him another 8 years.
All right. Bye, guys.